It's East Bay versus North Bay. The Hayward Farmers, league champions, a team loaded with speed and power, determined to bring the NCS championship flag home with them. Cardinal Newman, the Redwood Empire's best shot at a state title game berth, with one more obstacle blocking their path to Carson. It's the first time since 1997 the North Coast section has crowned a combined 3A champion, and it's next on Comcast.
We're at Santa Rosa High School's Ernie Nevers Field with a light rain falling as we get set for a much-anticipated matchup. It's the North Coast Section 3A championship game. The Cardinal Newman Cardinals, champions of the North Bay League and the Redwood Empire, taking on the Hayward Farmers at 12-1, the East Bay champions. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Cox along with Gary Howard, and everybody excited about this matchup. Both these teams have tremendous firepower, and this could be quite a shootout for this NCS championship.
Are you ready for this? Well, Cardinal Newman is going to see an offense like they have not seen all year, and Hayward is going to see a defense like they haven't seen all year. Last week, Hayward played Alhambra, and they put up over 152 points offensively on Alhambra. And then last week in the Redwood Empire Championship, Cardinal Newman's defense pinched a shutout against Montgomery, 39-zip. But something's got to give. We're in for a heck of a night.
And the guy that really leads the way with this wing T offense for Hayward is Troy Evans, having a tremendous season. And he has the speed and power like Newman hasn't seen all year.
Yeah, Troy is a phenomenal back. He already has offers on the table, one from Nebraska, but you can see he has speed, he has power, he has great hands. He will be the best running back Cardinal Newman has seen yet. And then, you know, he has great ability to break it, but look how electrifying he is in the open field. It doesn't matter whether you're on the 1-yard line, he'll bust it for 99 yards, and he is a special talent.
4 touchdowns last week in the NCS championship game in the East Bay. So the question is, can Cardinal Newman's defense come up with enough stops to give their offense a chance? Everybody thinks about Cardinal Newman and their offense, the spread offense with Lingle and Hutton, but their defense has been very solid, and they pitched the shutout last week.
Yeah, their defense is led by number 47, Kyle Young. He is a flat-out stud. He is a big-time player. He came over from Montgomery High School, but look at him stuff the run. And also on the defensive line, they have number 10, Tanner Briggs. He has played big all year long, did it last year as a junior. This defense is going to have to get things penetrated in the backfield before Hayward can get off and running. And then you see in the secondary, when you go to the air, they have this guy, Max Pond, number 6, who will be next year's Division I prospect. He's only a junior.
So the question is, will it be the speed and power of Hayward's wing T offense, or will it be the precision and timing of Cardinal Newman's spread offense? This should be quite a matchup here tonight. It's the Hayward Farmers and the Cardinal Newman Cardinals for the North Coast Section 3A Championship coming up next.
No one wants to be injured in any sport, but if it happens, let Carry On Fitness get you back on track. When you first come in, we'll start by measuring your full range of motion using the exclusive BioLever system. With this information, we can design an exercise program to enhance an athlete's balance, speed, strength, and most importantly, prevent injuries. We also feature the Woodway treadmill, used by many professional athletes today. So when the bad happens, make it good again with Carry On Fitness. Real results, real fast.
Throughout Northern California, Rogers & Young Insurance Services has been insuring people and businesses since 1958.
Rogers & Young understands my exposures and how to insure them. Fleet management is a huge need for us, and they've helped reduce our costs through their safety management programs. Rogers & Young has been there all along the way, meeting our new needs and making sure that we are properly covered.
Rogers & Young Insurance Services. We take care of your financial well-being.
Interest rates aren't going to be this low forever. Hi, I'm Rob Penrose of Western Pacific Loans. In this economy, the securest investment you can make is real estate. If you're thinking of purchasing or refinancing, give me a call.
What was different working with Rob was that he was so straightforward and on top of things. He got us pre-approval for a loan and then set us up with a real estate agent. That way we knew exactly in what price range to look.
Rob got my refinance through in time to get the best deal possible.
Rob Penrose, Western Pacific Law.
You work in the North Bay, Sonoma, Marin, and Napa counties. Beautiful areas with spectacular scenery. The Golden Gate Bridge, the Pacific Coast, the wine country. Advent Office Furniture will make your office reflect the beauty of the North Bay. Transform your office into a pleasant, comfortable, and efficient working environment. Advent, your source for complete office interiors.
We are just about ready to go here tonight at Nevers Field. Not too cold, in the mid-40s, scattered showers as field turf taking the rain very well today should not be a huge factor. And as we get set for the kickoff, let's check in with our field reporter for tonight's game, Ron Weathy.
Dave, I'd like to highlight what I think is tonight's key matchup of the game. It's between Al Netter and Austin Stafford of Hayward. Of course, Al Netter, 6'5", 240-pound left tackle for Cardinal Newman. Stafford, defensive end for Hayward. Stafford leads the team in sacks with 13.5 a game. Both players are actually going to go on to Division I. Netter is going to head to Northwestern, and Stafford most likely going to go to the University of Nebraska, Dave. Now, that's the key matchup for tonight, but the key question is how healthy is running back Brian Hutton for Cardinal Newman. Of course, last week against Montgomery, he did not play in the second half. He did not practice this week, but head coach Paul Cronin says he's okay. I talked to Hutton and said, Hutton, how are you doing? He gave me thumbs up. And the last thing, Dave, he's only 15 yards, becoming the all-time leading rusher in Cardinal Newman history, passing Percy Grogans. Back up to you, Dave.
All right, thank you very much, Ron. Well, this should be exciting. Newman will go on offense first as we see Paul Cronin, the head coach for Cardinal Newman, very excited about being here in his 4th season at Cardinal Newman. And the big news for the Cardinals is with a win tonight, they are pretty much assured of getting a shot at the Division III state title game. They are ranked #1 by most all of the rankings bureaus that are putting those out for the championship bowl game. And with a win tonight, Cardinal Newman will be eligible and on their way to Carson. Hayward would love to spoil that party. Hayward is actually a Division I team. And this kick, the opening kick, goes into the back of the end zone with a little wind behind it. Giovanni Granillo is a very good kicker for Hayward. And we will now see Cardinal Newman go on offense. As Ron said, Brian Hutton favoring that ankle, and we'll see how well he can do. He is in the starting backfield. Ryan Lingle is the quarterback. He's thrown for over 2,000 yards this year, over 2,500 last year, and he has played big in big games, Gary.
He is big. You know, he's never lost on this field. Neither has Coach Paul Cronin. He's 6-0 in the playoff games in the last 2 years. He has a 73% completion rate. Let's see how he can take apart Hayward's defense and how well Hayward adjusts to it.
Straight ahead it goes to Hutton, and he is stopped cold. A lot of big players along the defensive line for Hayward as we get set to take a look at the starters for Newman on the offensive line. And they've got some big guys as well that should be really the key to this game. Monson, Whitfield, Frigno, Knowlton, and Netter. And then the backs and receivers, of course, Hutton, Crandall, Magnuson, Durruti, and Durner. Hutton's first carry goes for a couple of yards. One thing that Casey Moreno was worried about was Newman really grinding away with Hutton. And here's Lingle diving forward to the 26-yard line. That is a gain of 4, bringing up our first third down of the ball game. Lingle has made some good decisions this year, and he has to make them quick against this defensive line. Hurd, Aubrey, Etu, and Stafford. We talked about Stafford. Turner, Lopez, and Lopez is a 3-year starter in Gaines, Jackson, Ani, and McGlown in the secondary. Joe Moore is the other linebacker. Here's Hutton, and it looks like it's going to be very close to a first down, and it looks like he's got it. So the Cardinals pick up a first down on the ground with Hutton running, and so far so good with the ankle as he gets this yardage after pushing Clement Ani backwards. And the officials hoping to keep the clock rolling as the chains have been set. Take a look. Jerry Lazar is our referee tonight. Hutton, his third carry of the football game, and he gets out to the 35-yard line. Exactly what Casey Moreno talked about in terms of worrying about Newman. The fact that if Hutton is healthy and he can chew up some yardage, Newman is very tough to stop, and if Hayward's offense isn't on the field, they can't score.
Yeah, so far we've seen Hutton a couple of times. Doesn't quite look like the same Hutton, but we'll see how that ankle is going to hold up.
Lingle to throw for the first time. Has Crandall. Crandall at midfield. Crandall down to the 39-yard line. A big pickup. 27 yards in the air. Second first down.
Good protection by the offensive line. Crandall, who came up big last week with a couple of catches, including a touchdown against Montgomery, and who came up big in the championship game for the Redwood Empire last year with 2 touchdowns.
Here's Hutton, and Hutton fumbles the football. It's picked up by Clement Ani. Lingle, the last man back to try and stop him. He won't. Hayward picks up the fumble and runs it back. Touchdown, Hayward. Over 60 yards on the play.
Great defense by Hayward. Hutton trying to get some extra yards, bobbles the football. When I was down on the field, Dave, I put my hands on the turf. If the ball touches that turf, it's very, very slippery. If they can keep wiping it off, passes will be okay, but once it hits the turf, it's going to be slippery. But right there, you see Ani pick it up and go the distance. Lingle almost had him, but right now, Hayward's on the board with the lead, 6-0.
Wow, so it's Hayward's defense that puts points on the board. And boy, were they tough against the run last week in stopping Rutley, Alhambra's star running back. And the kick is blocked. Wow, right up the middle. It is Joe Soto that blocks the kick.
Well, big play by Newman, special teams right there. It may not seem like a big deal now. We'll watch that as time goes on, but right now, Hayward strikes first. Here you see the touchdown. You can see Hutton go to the right side, and he gets hit. Nobody hits the football, but Ani picks it up and goes the distance. There you see him towards the end. Lingle will try and dive down and stop him. He high steps a little bit and gets in for the score. Touchdown, Farmers. So we talk a lot, Dave, about Newman's defense and Hayward's offense, and it's Hayward's defense that comes up with the first strike.
So Newman will get their hands back on offense now. Jerry Lazar, and he's ready to get things going again. Granillo with his first kickoff into the end zone. Pond back deep for Newman, along with Magnuson. Hayward's defense comes up with a huge play. Last week they scored 52 points on offense. They get a little help from the defense. The offense hasn't even been on the field. Magnuson slips at the 3 behind the wedge. And Magnuson gets out to the 27, maybe even the 28-yard line. So Newman was moving the football. They had picked up a couple of first downs before the fumble.
Yeah, Hayward is in a 2-deep coverage, inviting Newman to run the ball. They did that. They had some success, but here you see Hutton. He gets hit in the side, and the ball was kind of held up over his shoulder, so he kind of just loses grip on it. And Clement Ani just takes it in for the score.
Matt Hurd was one of the Hayward players that was in on that tackle. Lingle to the air, looking for Crandall down the middle, and it's incomplete.
Crandall ran a post, and great coverage by Johnny Lopez, the senior. who's guarding Crandall on that play. Right in front of him, there was nowhere for that ball to be thrown. So it sails over the top of Crandall. Great job by Lopez.
Hayward going 12-1 this year, champions of the Hayward Area Athletic League. They ran the table, went 8-0 in the Hayward Area Athletic League. Second place in that league this year was Mount Eden, San Leandro. Those are all big schools, and Lingle having trouble with the football, and Hayward has it again. Johnny Lopez picks up the football, and Hayward's offense will take the field for the first time tonight. Very uncharacteristic of Cardinal Newman as Lingle out of the gun, can't handle the snap, and Hayward takes over.
Yeah, this is going to kill Newman. They've already had 2 turnovers in less than 3 minutes. Lingle couldn't hang on to that ball, and he tries to pick it up, and Hayward comes up with it. So now they've got a short field. And, you know, Hayward's going to score. They're going to get theirs, but you can't give it to him. And right here, they're giving it to him. So we're going to get a look right now at Troy Evans and crew.
Robert Romero is the quarterback for Hayward. They run the Delaware wing tee. They've been running this for about 3 years. And their first play goes to their tailback, Christian Williams, and he is driven backwards. Nothing doing there. It was David Azevedo who gets in and makes the hit. Romero is a very good passer, as well as running the wing tee. Here's the offensive line. Etu is the big guy there at 335 pounds. And then Williams, Evans, Gaines, Jennings, and Stafford. Gaines, Evans, and Williams all run under 4.6 in the 40-yard dash. And they are very good, very speedy back. So they call them the three-headed monster. You can't really key on either one of them. If you do, the other one's going to burn you. And they had a little trouble in their first couple playoff games. Had to come from behind in the fourth quarter. Christian Williams was hurt in their final regular season game against Tennyson. So that took one of the heads off the three-headed monster. As we see Gaines this time. And Gaines picks up a couple of yards. Nice tackle by Durrutti.
Yeah, Durrutti and Kay in on that tackle. But Cardinal Newman so far has, on these first 2 plays, have done a great job, but they're going to need to get into the backfield. They cannot sit back and let Hayward attack them because they will bust this thing wide open. And already they're picking up a 3rd and long. There you see the secondary for the Cardinals.
Cardinal Newman starters, they will have their hands full tonight. It is 3rd down. Romero to throw for the first time, and it's batted away. So a stop for Newman's defense as Kyle Murphy drops back in coverage. And now the question is, do you go for 3 or do you go for it here on 4th down? Their field goal kicker is 4 for 4 this year. He's kicked a 50-yard PAT. He is very good, a soccer player converted to football. So we'll see what they decide to do here with Giovanni Granillo.
And there you see Kyle Murphy in on that coverage. There you see Coach Casey Moreno doing a great job here. His 7th year at Hayward High School, his 18th year of coaching, has done a great job. Let's talk about Granillo right here, Dave. His first year playing football, he is probably a D1 kicker, and he has got a tremendous leg.
A 40-yard attempt. He's got plenty of distance. The wind slicing it, but it gets through. Hayward scores to make it 9-0. So two turnovers turn into 9 points for Hayward. 7:56 to go in the first quarter here in the North Coast Section 3A Championship. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
In a roadside study, 1 in 3 reckless drivers who were tested for drugs tested positive for marijuana. It's more harmful than we all thought.
When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the school.
This is an exciting time of year. You know, we get a chance to play 14 games this season, and that's a blessing. You know, we worked hard, and we got to this point of the season. I think our kids are really excited about the opportunity to play, you know, not only a game for the North Coast Section title, but also to play in an East Bay school. And you know, we have a chance to be the 2nd team in North Bay history to beat an East Bay school in the championship game. So a lot of enthusiasm right now. I think the most important thing for us is just to realize that we get an opportunity. It's going to be a blast and have fun out there playing the game.
There's Paul Cronin talking about his opportunity to play a 14th game this season and try to knock off an East Bay team. The only North Bay team that's ever done it is Montgomery. Back in 1996, they beat Amador Valley in the 3A championship at the Oakland Coliseum. And Casey Moreno, he was talking in the Chronicle this week about the fact that he thinks that they play tougher competition throughout the year, and that readies them for a game like this. Cardinal Newman having a little trouble holding on to the football. The rain obviously having an effect on them so far. Hayward hasn't even picked up a first down offensively, and yet they lead it 9-0. And I don't think Newman's ever been in this position all year long where they've been down by a couple of scores. They trailed against Central Catholic early on, and they trailed by 3 against Montgomery, but that was in the 4th quarter. So this is a position that they really haven't been in this year, Gary, and we'll see how they respond.
No, and after that fumble by Lingle, that was a huge defensive stand by the Cardinals to not let this thing get out of hand too soon. But offensively, they've got to come down the field and they got to score. If they don't score and Hayward puts another score on the ball on the scoreboard offensively, it's going to be a long night.
Granillo putting another one into the end zone, so Newman will start at their own 20-yard line. Hutton behind Ryan Lingle. And here comes Hutton on the counter. Spins off the pile and gets about 4 yards. In on the tackle that time was Austin Stafford, coming over from his defensive end position. 5th carry of the night for Hutton so far, and the ankle holding out.
32-28.
Antoine Turner was also in on the tackle. He's just a junior linebacker here for Hayward. Very physical, has a tremendous amount of range as well.
In that middle of the defensive line, James Aubrey, who had a huge game last week. There you see Magnuson right there, busting it open, across the 50.
Magnuson behind the defense, and he gets a big gain as he takes it all the way down to the 42, and then a late flag. It's a 31-yard pickup. 3rd first down for Newman.
Great ball by Lingle. Magnuson was quiet, Dave, last week in the Montgomery game. As we were getting ready for this game, we wondered, would he pull up big? Because he is their leading receiver. Does a great job on special teams. Great job by Lingle to find him and pick up the first down and much more.
We have a sideline warning on the Hayward bench. A sideline warning.
Jerry Lazar keeping Hayward sideline at bay. So we take a look at the replay again. Just a quick little slant for Magnuson. He gets behind the defense and he's taken down from behind by Jesse Toloa.
Yeah, we're not going to see the Cardinals once they catch and run. We're not going to see a lot of yards after the catch. Hayward's defense is so quick. They're going to catch up to guys, but right now the Cardinals are moving the ball in the air.
The one thing that Hayward has been susceptible to is the pass this year. Here's Duretti, and Duretti makes a great catch at the 22-yard line. It's a 21-yard gain and another Cardinal Newman first down.
You know, I was talking to Paul Cronin today, Dave, and Ryan Lingle is a flat-out gamer. He is a winner. Whoever gets this kid to play on their college team is going to be so lucky because he has one of those things that you can't teach kids. Every time we see him in a broadcast here at Santa Rosa High School, he has been phenomenal. He has put the team on his back, and he will stay in the pocket until it collapses and make his throws. So right there we're showing, and Newman's on the move.
45th catch of the season. Lingle looking into the end zone, and it's incomplete.
Great coverage right there by Dominique Jackson, who's covering Max Pond over the middle. Max, the fastest Cardinal, but he's not even close to as fast as half the Hayward team.
These teams match up very favorably in terms of offense and defense. Newman has scored 35.2, a differential of 25.5. Hayward has allowed more points, but they still average 23.3 in their wins. Newman has pitched 3 shutouts this year, so their defense is a little bit stronger than Hayward's, but of course they have not played a similar opponent. Stafford making the tackle. And let's check in now with Ron.
Dave, I just wanted to give you guys an update on the conditions of the field down here. Actually, when you're going to make a cut, you're going to try to make a move, there's no problem whatsoever, even though there's water on the field. The problem comes in is when you're trying to hold the football, because it is raining, it makes it slippery, and then when the football hits the field turf, it's slippery on the field turf. So if you lose it, then trying to regain it is difficult. Dave, back up to you and Gary.
Thank you, Ron. That has been the problem so far for Newman. 2 turnovers, 9 points for Hayward. Cardinal Newman inside the red zone now for the first time tonight, facing a 3rd and 5 from the 17-yard line. Lingle to the air, and Pond can't hang on. Good matchup there with Donnell Gaines. It will be 4th down and a decision for Newman whether or not to try to keep it going here or put points on the board with Elio Toronto, their kicker.
Yeah, they got Toronto coming in. Pond knows he wishes he had that one back, but Donnell Gaines was right there to swat the ball away to make it difficult for him to grab it. So good coverage by Hayward. And right now, Newman's going to try and get something out of this drive.
Toronto is 4 of 5 this year. The only kick he missed was in the Montgomery game. This will be a 34-yard attempt to try to get Newman on the board.
And he's right in the middle of both his field goals last week. He hit a 33-yarder last week and a 37-yarder last week. He has the leg, and we'll see how he does with this footing right here.
Durner is the holder. From the near hash, Toronto didn't hit it well, and it is no good. So Newman comes up empty. 6:08 to go here in the first quarter, and they trail it 9-0.
Yeah, I haven't seen Brian Hutton run like he has in the past. We'll see how that ankle holds up. They're inviting Cardinal Newman to run, and Brian can usually cut better than that, where we see a lot of straight-ahead stuff right now. If he can't get going, it'll be interesting to see if Cardinal Newman makes a change in the running back position.
Oh, the NorCal rankings right now. Cardinal Newman ranked a little bit ahead of Hayward in the Northern Cal top 15 by rivals. The San Francisco Chronicle actually has it differently. Cardinal Newman at 12 and run. De La Salle and Foothill plays Saturday night for the 4A championship. Pass complete for about a yard, and that's it.
Now, great catch right there. I think that was Evans. Kyle Murphy was in the passing lane. Evans caught it and went around Kyle Murphy, and Kyle pursued really well to bring him down for no gain, so it brings up 2nd and 10.
Evans' first catch of the night. He is equally effective catching the football and running the football, but so far Newman has done a good job against the wing T. They face the wing T every year with Maria Creel, and they added the James Logan game this year, who also ran the wing T. So they've seen it a couple times this year and done well against it. Here's a run straight ahead, not much for Williams, and Kyle Young making his first tackle of the night along with Tanner Briggs. Christian Williams picking up 3.
Yeah, talking to Coach Moreno this week, Dave, I asked him, what did he like about Newman's defense? He said, I like number 47, that middle linebacker, Kyle Young. That guy can run, he can fly, he plays sideline to sideline, he is a player. And right there, Kyle comes up with his first play.
Yeah, Kyle had a big game last week against Montgomery, a big reason why they pitched the shutout, and now Hayward will take a timeout. All right, let's check in real quick with Ron Weathy.
I know Gary was talking about speaking with Coach Moreno of Hayward. I spoke to him prior to tonight's game, and I said, Coach, what are your keys for tonight's game? He said, well, against Cardinal Newman, we really have to stop the run. We're going to try to fill in the gaps. We can't let them come up with any big plays. And then second of all, they're really worried about the pass. They didn't want Cardinal Newman to get any big pass plays down the field. That was Coach Moreno's keys to the game for Hayward. Back up to you and Gary.
Thank you, Ron.
Well, this past week we've been watching a lot of game film on Hayward. They're a very good team. They're very quick, and their offensive line's big. They got some good backs, and I think if we stop the outside run, we'll do pretty good, because that's what we've been putting a lot of pressure on this week. I'm very excited to go into this game. Nobody's had an opportunity to play 14 games before, and we got the opportunity to do that. And I think if everybody does their jobs, we'll do pretty good.
There's Kyle Young talking about how he's going to face this very tough Hayward team and their speed. And it's starting to rain a lot more right now. Hayward with a 3rd and 7 from the 22-yard line to the air. And, right in the hands of James Kay, and he cannot hang on. 4th down, Newman does get the stop. However, Kay had an opportunity for an interception.
Yeah, great positioning by Kay, but Romero, he's got a gun, and he rifled that ball, and Kay couldn't hang on. He's not going to just loft it in there, but it hits him right there in the numbers, kind of in that position where you can't quite put your hands up, and you can't quite put it down. Difficult to bring it down for Kay, but great play for the defense by the Cardinals.
He was looking for Troy Evans. Great coverage. Newman's defense doing a nice job so far against the Hayward offense. That's the good news. The bad news is Newman trails 9-0. This one gets a nice bounce to Pond. And Pond just shy of midfield, taken down by Joe Moore. So Newman will have their best field position of the night to start this possession.
Yeah, the one thing that Cardinal Newman can't do, Dave, is they can't panic, because right now their defense is playing really well, and Hayward has gotten nothing offensively. So it's going to be a matchup of this offensive line to see if they can continue to protect for Lingle. They're moving the ball, but they're going to have to make some big plays to get this ball in the end zone.
Lingle so far has thrown for 79 yards. Hayward hasn't picked up much at all so far. 5 total yards of offense for the Farmers. And Hutton, bad ankle and all, rumbles for 20 yards and a first down.
You know, Dave, there's no painkiller you can get that's better than adrenaline. And if they can get Hutton moving, he's not going to feel a thing. And that's the biggest run of the night for Brian Hutton right there.
And with that run, Brian Hutton is now the single-season all-time rushing leader here at Cardinal Newman. Just past Percy Grogan's for the best season ever. Crandall open deep, and Newman is on the board. Touchdown, a 30-yarder to Ethan Crandall.
Dave, what a score, what a pass by Lingle. Crandall coming up big in another championship game. Well, let's talk about this right now, Dave. Hayward has been able to do nothing offensively, and they have not been able to stop Cardinal Newman.
A huge score for Newman with 4:09 to go in the first quarter, and that gets the Newman crowd pumped up again.
I tell you, Dave, I am in love with Ryan Lingle. That kid is one of the best quarterbacks in the pocket that I've seen in the high school game. He just sits there. He's so calm, so collected, doesn't panic. Even after he fumbled the ball early in the game, he brings his team down for a score. He did a great job.
And the kick is good. So Newman is on the board with 4:09 to go. Hayward still leads it, however, 9-7 in the North Coast Section 3A championship game.
When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard and play ball every weekend. They teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing would get better. But if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. That there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
Tonight's game of the week is brought to you by Cresco Equipment Rentals. Large or small, Cresco has it all. Carry On Fitness, real results, real fast. Rogers & Young Insurance Services, we take care of your financial well-being. Grund Chiropractic and Wellness Center, featuring the Peak Performance Program. Comcast GameOfTheWeek.com, get in the game. And by Rob Penrose at Western Pacific Loans. Big touchdown for Cardinal Newman. Lingle firing to Crandall. And that gets the Cardinals on the board. They've been behind the defense a couple times so far, Gary.
Yeah, they did. That was a great ball by Lingle. He had separation. Crandall was being covered by Rodney McGlown. You know, one thing we want to watch, Dave, here, let's talk about the keys for Hayward. Their defense has been on the field a lot right now, and they've got to put some kind of drive together to get their defense a break. If they go 3 and out again, their defense is back on the field, and they're going to start getting tired. So Hayward wants to put something together offensively, get this momentum back, because you can see the Hayward sidelines, you can see the Hayward players. They look a little flat right now. Momentum has swung a little bit Cardinal Newman's way, even though Hayward's got the lead. But I think Cardinal Newman knows they've given it to Hayward right now at this point, and they want to take it back.
Squib kick taken by Johnny Lopez. And out to the 35-yard line, James Kay making the tackle. So far it's been the story of turnovers by Newman. But then the offense for Cardinal Newman getting those points back. This was Clement Ani picking up the loose ball and going the distance for Hayward. But Ryan Lingle returns the favor, comes down the field and finds Ethan Crandall for the touchdown.
Well, we got ourselves a ball game.
Now a little pressure on the Hayward offense to move the football, and they have not been able to get it going so far. Donnell Gaines tackled by Travis Amaral, and not much there.
Now, last week, Donnell had a great game. 12 carries, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns against Alhambra. That whole backfield, you're called the three-headed monster, lit it up against Alhambra, and they couldn't stop him. Right now, Cardinal Newman's doing a good job. Gaines picks up a couple of yards. The rain falling a little bit harder right now. We'll see how that affects the ball carries holding on to this football.
2nd and 8 for the Farmers. Pass is complete to Jennings. And the first down of the night comes in the air as they pick up 13 yards. Jennings had a nice game last week. Made some big catches. First offensive play of the game for them was a big pass to Jermaine Jennings.
Yeah, Jermaine Jennings is their best wide receiver. 518 yards on the season in reception, 32 catches. He is a burner. He can fly. 8 touchdowns on the year. Big reception right there by Jermaine. There you see just a junior. Coach Moreno will be excited to get him back. You got to know that. He's a great player.
So far, the biggest play for Hayward has been in the air. Their rushing game has been shut down. They've been held to just 6 yards on the ground so far. Williams, no, that is Evans, and they nail him again. Toronto making the tackle. Newman doing a great job penetrating the backfield, and that's what can kill the wing T if you get that penetration.
Yeah, Coach Cronin knew they had to get into the backfield, and Chris Durner, he flies and he's behind the ball carrier. So they're doing a great job right now defensively stopping that run. I was talking to one of the riders on the field before the game, Dave. They felt if Hayward can't run the ball, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. They haven't had a lot of success passing the ball, but they haven't had to because they've been running teams over with the wing T. And Cardinal Newman definitely knows how to defend the wing T.
Newman has given up just 3 points in their last 2 playoff games. This pass incomplete, intended for Jennings. Romero has the rocket arm. He's a big-time baseball prospect. He was invited to a big-time camp in Florida. He's a shortstop, second baseman, very competitive, very confident. He brings that same style that he does in baseball to the football field as well.
Oh, you can see his arm. I bet you he could throw a baseball from deep in the hole at shortstop and make that throw without a problem. He's got a gun on him.
Very prestigious tournament in Florida, or camp that he was invited to. A guy who may get drafted after his senior year.
3rd and long, Dave. This is a big play for Hayward's offense.
And flags and whistles before the snap.
Delay of the game, maybe?
Dead ball foul. Delay of game. Hayward.
The Hayward's offense having all kinds of trouble. They get whistled for the delay of game. And that's going to make it 3rd and 15. The Newman crowd making a little noise, trying to make things tough as we see the rain continuing to come down here at Ernie Nevers Field. Inside handoff. Here comes Evans, and this is a very dangerous play because it gets him in space, and he picks up 17 yards and a 1st down.
That was a big play by Hayward. Cardinal Newman was not in position to stop that. And there you see Evans right there showing what he can do with the football. Knowlton comes in and makes the tackle on him. Kyle Young over the top, but they pick up a 1st down when they when they needed it. It's a big play by the Farmers.
Just under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter, and Evans finally gets going. See on the season, 1,795 yards. Look at his average, 13.3 every time he touches the football.
Yeah, Dave, I don't think I've seen an average that high in all the games that we've been in over the years.
Gaines carrying, and he's stopped by Joe Soto. Donnell Gaines is a very explosive back as well. Had 90 yards last week. He runs a 4.440, as does Troy Evans. So they've got some amazing speed. The question is, can they get past that defensive line? Gaines so far 3 carries and just 7 yards.
Yeah, but Hayward's doing exactly what they need to do, Dave. They're keeping their defense on the sidelines. They're putting together a drive. The more big runs they have, the more Cardinal Newman's going to be on their heels, and they're going to be saying, wait a minute, we can't stop this. And so they need to stop things just like this play right here in the backfield.
Straight ahead, Williams stuffed. Durner in on the tackle. And they'll have no gain on that one. Tanner Briggs was also there. Williams so far 3 carries and just 1 yard. Gaines had over 100 last week. Evans had 168 and 4 touchdowns last week. So they definitely had it going on.
Well, one of the things that I thought about before the game started, Dave, was the fundamentals of the offensive defensive line of the Cardinals. We've known that we've seen them a couple times this year. They're very good technique-wise. And it'll be interesting to see who has more stamina as the game goes on, because technique will always prevail over athleticism.
Evans has trouble with the football in the backfield, and Newman swarms him back at the 45-yard line. It's a loss of 8. Magnuson gets credited with the tackle.
And Hayward's going backwards. You can see Evans pop up. He was a little frustrated, but that's going to happen on a night like tonight with the weather. So he doesn't want to take it all on himself, but he's not happy right now. But Cardinal Newman's defense doing a fantastic job. And Granello, the place kicker, also does the punting. Hit a nice spiral line drive the last time.
And that is the end of the first quarter. And wow, what a barn burner of a first quarter. A lot happened. Hayward leads it 9-7. We'll be back with more.
No one wants to be injured in any sport, but if it happens, let Carry On Fitness get you back on track. When you first come in, we'll start by measuring your full range of motion using the exclusive BioLever system. With this information, we can design an exercise program to enhance an athlete's balance, speed, strength, and most importantly, prevent injuries. We also feature the Woodway treadmill, used by many professional athletes today. So when the bad happens, make it good again with Carry On Fitness. Real results, real fast.
Throughout Northern California, Rogers & Young Insurance Services has been insuring people and businesses since 1958.
A strong relationship with our insurance carrier is paramount. We've definitely established that with Rogers & Young Insurance. They've taken the worry out of evaluating our insurance needs. Rogers & Young has taken the time to understand Argonaut, and they certainly understand our industry.
Rogers & Young Insurance Services, a full-service insurance agency with longevity and experience. We take care of your financial well-being.
So we're getting ready to start quarter number 2 with a punt. Hayward has picked up just a couple of first downs so far. Newman trailing in this football game. The Hayward Farmers having their best season since 1979. Jack Del Rio was a senior at Hayward High School back then, and they won NCS, and they almost got a block. Missed the punter, but what a kick by Granello as he pops it down inside the 10, and it rolls all the way to the 6. What a kick with tons of pressure coming from Cardinal Newman.
Yeah, great job by Giovanni to hang in there and lay one up there. I was going to mention before, Dave, Cardinal Newman came close. The first time he punted the ball to block it in, they were even closer. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see them really try and pin it down and block a punt tonight.
Tyler Carr almost got to that one. So Hayward's defense back on the field. They gave up the big play and the touchdown the last time out. Cardinal Newman looking to exploit them in the air. Hayward's goal tonight was plain and simple. We want to stop the run. We don't want to let them control the clock. And so far, Newman's done a little bit of that and a little bit of passing as Hutton carries and picks up 3 yards this time.
Now, the Cardinals don't need Hutton to be a superstar tonight. They just need him to continue to do what he's doing, to be a threat. and to keep that defense honest so they can't just key on the pass.
And there you see he now moves ahead of Percy Grogan's as the all-time rushing leader for a single season here at Cardinal Newman. Percy Grogan's had 2 big seasons, 69 and 70. Tony Lopez as a quarterback running the wishbone in 1976 also on that list. Lingle stepping up, tries to fake a pass, loses the football and ends up falling on it himself. If I'm the Hayward coach, I'm saying that's got to be an incomplete pass because even though he faked it, he did end up throwing the football forward, and he ended up gaining 4 yards out of that.
Yeah, great job by the Hayward defense. Great coverage, great pressure. Coach Moreno wants to put pressure on Lingle, but there you see with that slippery ball, he gets fortunate that it falls underneath him and Hurd right there on the tackle. Lingle trying to make something happen, but they're going to need Hutton right here to pick up this first down.
3rd and 3 for Newman. Hutton's carried 8 times so far, nursing that bad ankle and hanging in there. They'll go to the air on 3rd down. In trouble for the first time. Lingle has to try to scramble. He's got a little room to run, and he's going to pick up the first down on his own.
Great job by Ryan Lingle to pick that up, Dave. We thought he was toast in the backfield, and he cuts back to Al Netter's side, number 58. Al turns and makes a key block to spring him. Here you're going to see Lingle. Great pressure by the Farmers. This thing just collapses, and Lingle turns and goes. Aubrey almost has him. Then you see right there Netter. There you see Ferrigno out front leading the block. And right there, Joe Moore finally coming up the tackle, but not after the Cardinals picked up the first down.
Joe Moore, a guy who's improved tremendously all season for Hayward, drops Lingle. Lingle to the air. Oh, my goodness. Gaines stepped in front of it, and he would have been gone had he hung on to that one.
Yeah, Gaines had that, and he had nothing but green turf in front of him. Poor pass by Lingle right there, but the Farmers doing a great job covering the secondary. They're doing a great job in the secondary covering the receivers, and a great job putting pressure on them.
Gaines, who transferred from St. Mary's of Berkeley last year, and boy, he was going to be gone right there. He's just 5'8", 175, but he plays much bigger than that.
Yeah, there you see Donnell wiping his hands off, Dave. No rain, that's a pick, and he's gone.
So a break for Cardinal Newman. Under 10 minutes to go now in the second quarter here in the North Coast Section 3A title game. It's Hutton off the right side. And he picks up 6 yards. Nice tackle in the open field by Ben Fano.
Big run by Hutton right there.
You see he's definitely limping. You wonder how long he's going to be able to go with that bad ankle. Fano coming all the way over from the linebacker position, and he was the first man there.
Yeah, you got to give him credit for giving it all he's got, but this is it. It's one and done. They make it past the Hayward Farmers right here. They're on their way to Southern California. They do not, and it's over.
Everybody up in the box right here for Hayward on 3rd and 4. Lingle's going to go to the air again. The pass to Duretti. He's got the first down, and Duretti's out to the 49. Dragged down from behind by Rodney McGlown. McGlown is a 5'9" senior. Duretti with his first catch of the night.
Michael Duretti, just love his hands, does a great job because McGowan had pretty good coverage. Great ball by Lingle to put it only where Duretti can catch it. McGowan was right on his back. There you see Michael right there, the senior, 5'8", 180 pounds, with phenomenal hands as a high school player. Has done a great job to pick up another first down.
3rd year on the varsity for Duretti. Here comes Hutton. And Newman controlling the line of scrimmage. Hutton now with 10 carries and 54 yards.
Yeah, Dave, you know, we talk about Netter, number 58, 6'5", 250 on his way to Northwestern. There he is right there going against number 4, Joe Moore. There you see Duretti right there. McGlown right there on the coverage, but they picked up the first down. Then we talk about Monson, number 77, on the other side, 6'5", 250.
Lingle rolling, dumps it to Duretti again, and Duretti picks up 5 or 6 yards, and he took a pop. I want to tell you. The ball popped out, and Hayward seems to have it. It's a fumble. Duretti had the first down, but he ends up losing the football, and Newman has now turned it over 3 times.
Yeah, great hit by Hayward. I'm trying to see who actually made that hit across the field, but he laid a lick on Duretti. There you see it right here coming in. That's Gaines right there who put his helmet down. And Duruddy got the cobwebs loose.
And here comes Gaines again. And Gaines picks up 4 yards before Kyle Young catches up with him. So Donnell Gaines making his presence felt on offense and defense now for Hayward. And he is a senior. So the question is now, can Hayward's offense get it going? They scored 52 points last week, although they struggled in their first 2 playoff games against Irvington and Concord. They had to come from behind in the 4th quarter in both of those contests. They were the #1 seed in the East Bay tournament. And there's 3 for Christian Williams. Kyle Young making the tackle right at midfield.
That's a good play. Coach Moreno calls a good play. Getting up 4 or 5 yards, brings up 3rd down at about 3. A great run by Williams. Christian Williams has 9 touchdowns on the year.
Here's last week's NCS East Bay Championship game. Evans scored 4 times. They held Brandon Rutley in check, and Hayward came away with a 52-21 win. Alhambra was able to throw the football, but they started passing when they were already down by 3 or 4 scores. It was a little bit too late. Here's Evans trying to use his speed, and they drop him for a loss of 3. They've done a great job on Evans so far.
They have done a great job. Tanner Briggs, Kyle Young, Elio Toronto, all those guys in the backfield. And Evans does a great job not to lose more yardage than that. He decided just to head upfield and get as much as he could. But great defense again by the Cardinals, Dave. And let's take a look on this 4th down punt, how close they're going to come, and are they going to come out to try and block it? The crowd yelling, block that kick. They've obviously seen what we've seen.
Cardinal Newman crowd hoping for a block right here.
Pond and Magnuson deep, both capable of taking it the distance.
Granillo has been huge so far. He hit a big field goal, and he had a tremendous punt his last time. Newman setting up for a return this time. And that kick almost hit Duruddy in the back. Troy Evans was right there. It ends up rolling out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Newman will start deep in their own territory once again.
Yeah, Dave, that's dangerous. It was heading right for Duruddy as he's running away. We saw that in the Montgomery-Windsor game, where Kyle Reed was too close to the punt. It bounces, hits him. Montgomery gets the ball inside the 10. So a little luck right there for Cardinal Newman. And they're going to take over 1st and 10. The score 9-7. The Farmers are leading.
Newman has a big advantage in total yardage right now, 209 to 34. And there's a fumble. Hutton trying to dive on it himself, and I believe he did get it back. Boy, this is something that we just have not seen from Cardinal Newman in the last 3 or 4 years with Cronin as a quarterback. They just don't turn it over, and so far they've turned it over 3 times and almost a 4th right there.
No, you got to know it's the weather. The ball never even got to Hutton. Lingo's bobbling it as he's trying to hand it off. Hutton does a great job covering up. They lose a yard, but this weather is definitely affecting everybody.
And you can only imagine how sloppy it would be out here if it wasn't for the field turf.
Oh, yeah, it's great to see more and more high schools putting this stuff in. Soccer players love it, too.
Lingo diving forward, and he picks up 8, maybe even 9 before Donnell Gaines takes him down. He's a little bit short of the 1st down. Lingle so far has 31 yards on the ground. He's made some nice decisions.
Yeah, he had in the playoff game against Casa Grande 2 weeks ago, he had 47 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. And, you know, a lot of coaches will probably be nervous as their quarterback's running the ball, but Lingle's a former linebacker. He weighs 225 pounds. He can bring it, and he's not afraid.
Lingle keeps it straight ahead, and it looks like he'll have the 1st down as he crosses the 25-yard line there. At least it's going to be very close. And the officials now do signal 1st down Newman.
Well, now let's talk about Newman's keys. 4:27 left to go in the half. They'd like nothing more than to take the time off the clock and come down and score and take the lead going into halftime, because Hayward's got to be a little nervous that they have not been able to move the ball offensively. Cardinal Newman has had success moving the ball, but they have turned it over almost 4 times, like you said, 3 times. So it'll be interesting to see how this drive goes. Big time stand right now needed for Hayward.
Decent crowd here tonight, despite the rain. Lingle with a pump fake. Now he's going deep for Pond. Pond's and Gaines, and neither player comes up with the football. What a matchup that is. Speed versus speed. And Gaines hung right with Pond down the sideline.
Yeah, Pond was not going to get any separation. Gaines had great coverage. Pond tries to go up, and they do a great job competing, as they said last week. Pond wanted to go up and compete with Gaines when the ball was thrown up in the air, but he did a great job. He's right there. Perfect ball, a little underthrown. Could have been picked off, but Pond does a good job of batting it down right there. Kenny Ferrigno right there, the center, number 72. He's the general of that offensive line.
2nd and 10 out of the gun. They dump it off on a screen to Hutton. He runs into his own man, Durrutti, and he gets out to the 34-yard line. Pickup of 8 yards. Would have been more had he not collided with Durrutti. And now 140 yards in the air for Cardinal Newman.
Big play for the Cardinals. First time we've seen a screen and 8 by Cardinal Newman. There you see Hutton right there. He's going to turn and run. Big block right there.
Hutton with his 7th catch of the season, 3rd and short. Hutton on the counter, and he's close to another first down. Let's check in with Ron Weathy now, down on the field.
Hey, Dave, as I highlighted in the opening, I thought the key matchup tonight was Netter versus Stafford. So far, Al Netter is winning the battle. Stafford has not gotten to Ryan Lingle, and of course, he leads Hayward with 13.5 sacks on the season, but does not have one tonight. Back up to you, Dave.
Yeah, that is not surprising. Down at the Nike camp at Stanford, Netter did a great job in his one-on-one drills. And that's going to be a great matchup all night long. But Netter, fundamentally sound, great upside.
And they've got the first down. 10 first downs now for Newman. Let's check out Austin Stafford last week against Alhambra. He had a great game. Here he is early in the game, getting a hand on one that led to an interception by Antoine Carr. And that set up Hayward in very nice field position. Here he is picking up a fumble, being in the right place at the right time. Hutton carrying forward, and he picks up 7 yards. Newman still moving the football on the ground effectively. Not huge yardage, but enough to keep this Hayward defense honest.
Yeah, that's exactly what Hutton needs to do. He's picking up 8 yards on a carry. I'll take that any day. But 2:40 left to go in the half. They're going to have to put the ball in the air because Hutton's not going to break when this defense is too fast.
Newman out to the 44-yard line now with time becoming a factor here in the first half. Hutton trying to get the first down, and he's very close. I think he got it. Big hitting going on. Carr was there. Stafford was there. And they'll move the chains. 11 first downs now for Cardinal Newman. They lead in that category, but the only category that really matters right now is the scoreboard, and the Hayward Farmers looking for their first NCS championship since way back in 1979, lead 9-7.
Yeah, we talked about Austin Stafford and Al Netter. Austin has nothing athletically on Al Netter. Al Netter, a basketball player, the basketball team wondering whether or not he's going to play basketball, but Al could 360 slam the ball. So he's the right guy to have at left tackle protecting the backside of Ryan Lingle, especially against a great defender like Austin Stafford.
1st and 10 Newman. Under 2 minutes to go. Lingle gets away from Stafford. And he's dragged down after a gain of about 8. Joshua Wilson got him from behind. As Lingle makes another nice decision and runs the football.
He's doing a great job tucking and running right there. Wilson eliminates him from picking up even more yardage. I thought Stafford was going to get him right there, but he couldn't quite hang on. And there you see right there, Wilson just hanging on to the jersey.
Hutton has another first down as he gets to the 40-yard line, taken down again by Joshua Wilson. 69 yards now for Hutton with that bad ankle. He didn't come out in warm-ups. I think everybody noticed it, particularly the Hayward team, and then Hutton came out much later by himself, and then again attracted a lot of attention. Everyone from Hayward said, oh yeah, there's number 1. He's been the key so far for Newman. First and 10, Lingle to the air, has Pond. Pond trying to get away, and he takes some hits. It's a gain of 9. And Newman takes a timeout.
1:01 left to go in the half. Newman has two more timeouts.
Well, we showed you the Rivals.com rankings for Northern California a moment ago. Now the San Francisco Chronicle ranks it differently. NorCal Preps has Newman ahead of Hayward. The San Francisco Chronicle Bay Area rankings, however, have Hayward as the number 4 team and Newman number 7. Novato at number 6. They're playing in the 2A championship against Miramonte. They're hoping for a berth to go to the state championship as well. It would be 2 North Bay League teams if Novato and Newman. But Palo Alto already won the CCS Open Division. They think they've got that number 1 spot nailed down, and a trip to Carson to play for that, as we see the lights here at Nevers Field and the rain continuing to fall with 1 minute and 1 second left in the first half. Newman at the Hayward 32-yard line. Hutton for another first down, the 12th first down for Cardinal Newman.
53 seconds left to go.
And Newman now hustling up to the line. They move the chains and now start the clock.
The Farmers doing a great job covering the receivers for Cardinal Newman, not giving up anything too big. A couple of passes to Crandall early on, but other than that, they've done a great job in forced Lingle. Here we go, Girotti wide open.
Girotti has it. He stays on his feet. Touchdown Newman. What a fake. They faked the in. He went to the out, and Girotti hauls it in. Cardinal Newman takes the lead for the first time tonight.
Wow. Girotti had no one around him. What a fake by the Cardinals. And he does a great job, the ball thrown a little behind him, to hang on with those mitts and pull it down. And the Cardinals got the momentum with a 13-9 lead with 33 seconds left to go in the half.
Toronto trying to make it 14-9. And now that missed extra point for Hayward becomes a big point. Yeah, 11-play drive, and exactly what Casey Moreno didn't want his defense to do. Give up a lot of yards on the ground, allow Newman to control the clock, and that's exactly what they did.
Newman has done a fantastic job with their game plan. And the early extra point miss, you don't think it's going to be a big factor early on, but it does come back and bite you later in the game.
Toronto hits his to make it a 5-point Newman lead. 33 seconds remaining here in the first half, and Newman takes the lead for the first time tonight in the rain here at Ernie Nevers Field in the North Coast Section 3A Championship game.
It's no secret, Sonoma County has become one of the most desirable places to live in the Bay Area. Rob Penrose at Western Pacific Loans can help you get financing for your dream home. Rob has lived in Sonoma County for over 25 years, helping people just like you. He can choose from several lenders to get the right loan, even if you have less than perfect credit. Get the home you've always wanted with first-class service and competitive rates. Soon you'll be relaxing in your new home thanks to Rob Penrose at Western Pacific Loan, Sonoma County's local lender with the competitive edge.
Tonight's game of the week brought to you by NorCal Football Scouting, the #1 choice for college coaches and looking for talent here in the North Bay. They have been able to supply talent to a number of big-time schools throughout the Pac-10, the Big Ten, all over the nation. And if they have found out about a player in Northern California, chances are they found out about him first from NorCal Football Scouting. Go to norcalscouting.com. High school football coaches are encouraged to get on that website and let them know about their upcoming prospects. NorCal Football Scouting films a lot of games in Northern California and gets that talent off to the college coaches. And boy, we've seen a huge increase in players signing at Division I schools because of that service. 33 seconds remaining now here in the first half. Cardinal Newman with an 11-play, 85-yard drive. Toronto not about to kick it deep. He goes short to Gaines, and Gaines with a marker down gets out to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, Dave, I don't think I've seen a kick return team like Hayward's. You got your two deep guys, but that second level line, every one of those guys can bust it. So you hit a squib kick, as you see right there, Gaines could pick it up. He could be gone. That's dangerous. So they got a lot of talent, a lot of weapons, a lot of speed.
Illegal block in the back on the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, Hayward.
Second penalty of the night against the Farmers. You see Toronto kicking it short and low. And the block in the back, backing Hayward up inside their own 30-yard line. Yeah, you got Gaines, you got Jennings, who's fast, you got, of course, Williams and Evans, but they've also got a sophomore, Dominique Jackson, who runs a 4.440. He's a 5'10", 165-pounder. He is going to be an absolute star here for Hayward the next couple of years. Straight ahead it goes. Williams plunging forward, picking up a few yards, and it looks like Hayward is content to go to the locker room now, trailing 14-9. Nice tackle by David Acevedo. Williams straight ahead. He has only 8 yards and 5 carries, and that will be the final snap of the first half. Casey Moreno, who really wanted to take the NCS flag back to Hayward. His team trailing here at the half. Let's check in now with Ron Weavy.
Dave here with Coach Cronin. Coach, how did you guys overcome the turnovers in the first half?
Well, I think we settled down. I think that was difficult early. We were a little bit rattled, and you drop the ball, and they picked up, score a touchdown, then you're like, whoa, 7-0. So once our guys settled down and started playing, I think we were okay. In the second half, I think what we need to do is just keep playing hard defensively and offensively take care of, I think we have some advantage receiver-wise, and we can run the ball on them. So I think we can do a good job in the second half, hopefully get some points on the board.
Coach, thanks very much for your talking to us. Dave, and let me highlight the fact that at halftime we're going to go ahead and speak with Joe Beeland. He's partnered up with Comcast Game of the Week, and he's autographing footballs for Player of the Week. Don't go away. We'll be back with that interview here at halftime.
All right, thank you very much, Ronnie. Well, Newman, despite the rain, has been able to throw the football. Lingle with 2 touchdowns in the air so far tonight, and Cardinal Newman, after trailing 9-0, lead 14-9 here at the half in the North Coast section 3A championship game.
You work in the North Bay, Sonoma, Marin, and Napa counties. Beautiful areas with spectacular scenery. The Golden Gate Bridge, the Pacific Coast, the wine country. Advent Office Furniture will make your office reflect the beauty of the North Bay. Transform your office into a pleasant, comfortable, and efficient working environment. Advent, your source for complete office interiors.
There is a place where a total stranger will give you their blood. A place where someone you never knew will save your child from drowning. Where a person who doesn't look like you, talk like you, or dress like you will give you shelter after a flood. That place is called America, where we look out for each other. When you help the American Red Cross, you help America.
Rain continuing to fall, and as promised, Joe Beeland down the field with Ron Wheely. He's going to show you the football that we're going to be giving away to our player of the game tonight. Ron, take it away.
Dave, tonight and every player of the game in the future with Comcast. And Joe, you have a business for yourself. What is your business called?
Yeah, Personalized by Joe, and I do personalized footballs for players individually and for schools and all that. So.
And you're teaming up with Comcast here. Let's show the viewers what the player of the game is going to receive here at Comcast. It's super impressive, Dave. Now, any player that wants Joe to go ahead and autograph a football or design a football for them, whether they're a player game or not here on Comcast, they can contact Joe. And Joe, what is the number we can get a hold of you, or the email address?
Email is going to be at jbeland, B-E-L-A-N-D, at sbcglobal.net. Or just go to my website at www.joebeland.com.
And it's going to be for every game at Comcast. Now, I know you have a little card there that says something on it, and it can either be player of the game or it can be Dave Cox player of the game. I don't know. Was Dave ever a player of the game?
He wishes.
So Dave, Joe Beland, you can get a hold of him. Again, your email address is what, Joe?
It's going to be at jbeland@sbcglobal.net.
And one time, let's show them the ball again. And the player of the game tonight will get their name on there. Joe will personally put it on there. And if you want to contact Joe for a game ball, just get a hold of you. All right, Dave, it's a great partnership here with Comcast. I'm going to send it back up to you.
Thank you, Ronnie. We'll take another break right here at the half. It's 14-9. The Hayward band taking the field. They're going to perform here at halftime. And we'll be back with the highlights and team totals in just a moment.
You may not play in the majors. You may not be athlete of the week. But you will be something. Every kid deserves a chance. With your support, Easter Seals offers children with disabilities help and hope.
No one wants to be injured in any sport, but if it happens, let Carry On Fitness get you back on track. When you first come in, we'll start by measuring your full range of motion using the exclusive BioLever system. With this information, we can design an exercise program to enhance an athlete's balance, speed, strength, and most importantly, prevent injuries. We also feature the Woodway treadmill, used by many professional athletes today. So when the bad happens, make it good again with Carry On Fitness. Real results, real fast.
Throughout Northern California, Rogers & Young Insurance Services has been insuring people and businesses since 1958.
Rogers & Young has the experience to help us with our insurance requirements. Through their unique understanding of workers' comp and safety management, they've helped us control costs and keep our employees safe.
Rogers & Young Insurance Services, a full-service insurance agency with longevity and experience. We take care of your financial well-being.
Don't leave your most important asset to just any mortgage broker. Hi, I'm Rob Penrose of Western Pacific Loans, and if you're thinking about purchasing or refinancing, now is the time to act. I have 9 years experience as a mortgage broker and have closed hundreds of loans. My full-time staff allows us to close loans in a timely manner. I closely monitor interest rates daily so that I can get you the best possible rate. Call me, Rob Penrose, Western Pacific Loans.
You work in the North Bay, Sonoma, Marin, and Napa counties. Beautiful areas with spectacular scenery. The Golden Gate Bridge, the Pacific Coast, the wine country. Advent Office Furniture will make your office reflect the beauty of the North Bay. Transform your office into a pleasant, comfortable, and efficient working environment. Advent, your source for complete office interiors.
We are at the half here at Ernie Nevers Field. The rain continuing to come down. And quite a football game so far. Hayward jumping out to a 9-0 lead. Cardinal Newman now leading it 14-9 as the Hayward band continues to play here at halftime. Dave Cox and Gary Howard back with you. A little bit of a scare for Cardinal Newman early on. Gary, they fumbled the ball a couple times. Hayward got up big, but Cardinal Newman's defense has really controlled this football game so
They have.
far.
We talked about Hayward's offense. We talked about Cardinal Newman's defense. We said that Hayward would have not seen a defense like Cardinal Newman's. They are used to stopping the wing T. They play it every year in the league, and they've done a phenomenal job tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights of the first half of play, starting with Newman fumbling the football, which led to 9 Hayward points.
Yeah, the ball's slippery right there, and Hutton fumbles the ball. Ani right there takes the distance, high steps right there before Lingle can take him in. So that's the first score, and that's pretty much a gift to Hayward. It wasn't that they earned it offensively, but they turned it over. There you see Lingle on the shotgun, can't quite get a handle, and then Hayward gets the ball again, and there you see the field goal right there. That makes it 9-0. So both those scores are pretty much given to Hayward. Well, then you see Lingle start to light it up. The first one to Magnuson. That set up the touchdown pass right here to the big championship playmaker, Ethan Crandall, who has come up big last week, this week, and in last year's championship game for the first score for Cardinal Newman. That makes it 9-7. In the second quarter, Hutton has done a great job with that sore ankle. And here you can see the first time we saw a screen, he tucks it, he spins a little bit, picks up good yardage, and then you're going to see a blown coverage on Hayward's part, and Michael Durrutti wide open for the touchdown right there. And that brings us to where we are, 14-9, Cardinal Newman lead.
And the team totals from the first half. Newman with a big advantage in first downs, rushing yards, passing yards. The only problem they've had so far has been turnovers. Those 3 turnovers were very big in this football game. So both coaches with a chance to make some adjustments and get their teams ready. Both teams are 12-1, so you know they are going to come out here emotional and fired up to start quarter number 3. We'll be back with that after this.
I'm the Spare the Air guy. I'm here to thank you. I'm here to thank everybody leaving their cars at home. Muchas gracias por riding the bus. Domo arigato.
Your Bay Area Air District wants to thank you for driving less and sparing the air more.
You're an inspiration, ma'am. Public transit rocks. Yes! Yes,
By taking transit, carpooling, biking, walking, or working from home, you cut down air pollution and add to your quality of life. So thank you, Bay Area, and for more air quality tips, visit sparetheair.org.
Spare the air! Spare the air! Spare
Production and use of methamphetamine destroys innocent lives. Learn more. Visit our website at stopdrugs.org. Where meth goes, violence follows.
No one wants to be injured in any sport, but if it happens, let Carry On Fitness get you back on track. When you first come in, we'll start by measuring your full range of motion using the exclusive BioLiver system. With this information, we can design an exercise program to enhance an athlete's balance, speed, strength, and most importantly, prevent injuries. We also feature the Woodway treadmill, used by many professional athletes today. So when the bad happens, make it good again with Carry On Fitness. Real results, real fast.
Teams are out of the locker room right now with the score 14-9. Let's check in with Ron, who has the head coach for Hayward, Casey Marino.
Yes, Dave, I sure am. Coach, what did you tell the guys at halftime?
Hey, just that we're in the game. It's still a game, and we have to block a whole lot better and tackle a whole lot better. We've had a couple defensive breakdowns, and we're still in this game. The kids can't get down on each other. Right now they're a little bit awestruck because they didn't play well in the first half, and we can't worry about that. We got a new half of football right now.
You were able to take advantage of a couple turnovers, but you had a difficult time moving the football. What difference is going to be in the second half?
We're going to make some adjustments offensively and see if we can't get ourselves in a better position offensively.
Coach, thanks for your time. We appreciate talking to us, okay? All right, Dave, Gary, back up to you guys.
Coach Casey Marino, who has a local connection. He played at Sonoma State under Tim Smith, and he really credits Coach Smith for getting him into coaching because he was such an inspiration back in the late 80s. He played there at Sonoma State. Also coached at Tennyson High School before coming here to Hayward.
Yeah, he's got quite the coaching resume. He's been at Chabot Junior College. He's been at San Lorenzo. He's been at California. So Casey's been around the game a long time. He's got a couple of great coaches on his staff. Bill Davies, the defensive coordinator, he's been coaching for 24 years. He came over to Hayward, and Casey was just really fortunate to have him. There you see Ryan Lingle, who's had a great first half, with except for the fumble that he had, but he's known when to tuck the ball and run when the Farmer secondary has done a great job. One of the up-and-coming coaches right now for Hayward, Denny Molson, the O-line coach.
Well, I mean, Hayward's a really athletic team, and probably the best team we've played all year, but as a leader, as a quarterback of my team, I'm just going to go out there and just help my guys keep a level head and just go out there and just play aggressive. I mean, anything happens out there, just play the next play. Something goes wrong, play the next play, and just enjoy yourself, man. It's going to be a lot of fun out there. It's going to be a good game.
Ryan Lingle talking about how he planned on being a leader, and there's Brian Hutton keeping that ankle loose. And we'll take another break right here as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Rain continuing to fall. This should be a very exciting second half. The first time the North Coast section has crowned a combined 3A champion since 1997. Will it be Newman or will it be Hayward? We'll find out as we start the second half.
Throughout Northern California, Rogers & Young Insurance Services has been insuring people and businesses since 1958.
Rogers & Young understands my exposures and how to insure them. Fleet management is a huge need for us, and they've helped reduce our costs through their safety management programs. Rogers & Young has been there all along the way, meeting our new needs and making sure that we are properly covered.
Rogers & Young Insurance Services. We take care of your financial well-being.
Tonight's game of the week is brought to you by Cresco Equipment Rentals. Large or small, Cresco has it all. Whether you're into ranching, home improvements, or big-time construction, Cresco has everything you need to get the job done right. They have excavators, water trucks, boom lifts, scissors lifts. So when you need a lift, call Cresco Equipment Rentals. Cresco taking care of us tonight here at Nevers Field. Historic Ernie Nevers Field. And boy, you can only imagine what a mess this field would be if they didn't have the sport turf.
Oh, when it used to be grass here, Dave? Well, let me rephrase that. When it used to be dirt here, because after game one, this thing turned into the middle of the field, was all dirt, and it was dangerous to fall down here. But they've done a great job with these facilities in Sonoma County. Piner getting a field, Montgomery getting a field, Santa Rosa getting a field, Elsie Allen getting a field. Newman's got lights, Carrillo wants lights, Elsie Allen's got lights, everybody's getting lights.
Toronto kicks it off, and this is the sophomore, Dominique Jackson. I talked about him in the first half. And Jackson gets out to the 25-yard line. Some big hitting going on. Janowczyk was there, Briggs, and also Tyler Carr. So Hayward's quarterback, Robert Romero, who's thrown so well in the playoffs. He was 16 of 21 for over 200 yards last week. Here in the first half, just 2 of 5 for 13 yards. And there you see Romero not able to get it going much in the first half. Hayward tried to run that wing tee and really couldn't do it. Only one of their backs has more than 10 yards rushing. That's Donnell Gaines. See what changes they come out with. It's Evans trying to break free. Newman swarms him. No gain. Wow, Kyle Murphy makes the tackle.
They have done a great job. Cardinal Newman's defense knows exactly what they're doing against this offense. And you got to give Coach Dennis Bruno, the defensive coordinator for Cardinal Newman. Coach Mike Healy, the freshman coach, is also up there with Coach Bruno. They're pulling all the stops out right here to stop this Hayward Farmer team, which is so electric. There you see right there, Dennis Bruno just sitting on the edge with his galoshes on, doing a great job.
Second and 10. Romero to the air. Complete. And the pass is caught for a first down. It's about 14 yards. And it's Jermaine Jennings who comes up with a catch, his second catch of the night.
Yeah, Jermaine, their big play wide receiver. He's just as dangerous. He catches the ball in the open field. He can go. The Cardinals will give that up. I don't think they're too worried about the stuff underneath. It's if those guys get busting into the third level that they're getting nervous. There you see Coach Moreno pacing the sidelines right there. He came out and said his team was a little awestruck, probably not expecting to be in this position. But this is a close game.
Jennings, who averages over 16 yards a catch. This pass incomplete, so it looks like they are coming out to throw the football a little bit more here in the second half, after their wing tee has been virtually shut down by the Cardinal Newman defense.
Yeah, Evan, such a bright future ahead of him. He's a great kid, too, Dave. I had a chance to meet him on the field, introduced myself. He said, "Nice to meet you, sir." I said, "Good luck tonight." Just a great kid. Got a great leader in Coach Moreno leading these boys, and they've had a great, successful season.
Second and 10. Here comes Evans. And not much there. Check it. That was Gaines, and he picks up 3, and that's it. Durner in on the tackle along with Max Pond.
Durner doing a great job coming out to stop the outside run. These guys are dangerous, and you see Durner in position. We've seen Durner in the backfield a couple of times tonight. Also, great penetration by Travis Amaral getting in there.
Third down for Hayward from their own 45-yard line. The Farmers desperately trying to get something going offensively.
Yeah, those numbers, Dave, we showed at halftime were completely lopsided, and the Farmers want to pick up a first down here.
The pass tipped and incomplete. Durner had a shot at the INT. It'll be fourth down.
Dave, one step closer, and Durner's got that ball, and he's gone the other way. And that could have been a backbreaker, but great defense again by the Cardinals. Hayward's got to be wondering what the heck is going on.
Hayward, a team that racked up 561 yards of total offense just last week. And they have about 45 or 50 yards of total offense right now in this football game. Back to receive the punt for Newman, Magnuson and Pond. Granillo has got off some good kicks so far, and he touched a knee that time. This is going to be a huge break for Newman. He went down to a knee at the 31.5-yard line, and that is where Newman will get the football.
That's like a turnover right there, Dave. A low snap. Granillo goes down to get the ball. All he's trying to do is hang on to it. He touches his knee down because of the snap that was so low, and he's down right there, and the Cardinals are in business.
Wow, what a break for Newman. We'll see if they can capitalize.
Hayward came out flat, Dave, in the second half. If Cardinal Newman comes down and scores, it's going to be hard for Hayward to recover.
No question about that. Hutton straight ahead. Newman trying to run the football, and boy, it's been an amazing job by Hutton with that bad ankle. Coming up, making the hit there is Matt Hurd, a 6'3", 235-pound junior who has improved throughout the season. Started last year as a sophomore and now really is starting to understand the game. Plays defensive end, but might move to inside linebacker as a senior next year.
Yeah, he's a great player. On the line also, James Aubrey, who had a big game last night. Sifa at 2, also a defensive tackle. And then you got Stafford on the other side. So good defensive line. Cardinal Newman winning the job up front, though.
Lingle to the air. Hutton on the screen. Gets a block. Hutton down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. It's a pickup of 11 yards and a first down.
Cardinal Newman executing that screen right there. There you see Link.
That was more than 11. That was like 15.
Hutton, great blocking up front. There you see Brian Whitfield leading the way. And Hutton doing a great job on that ankle.
15 first downs now for Cardinal Newman. Hutton plunging forward. Antoine Turner taking him down. Turner got him, but again, it's 6 yards. Straight ahead for the Cardinal Newman offensive line. They are really blocking well against this huge defensive line. Sifa Etu, you mentioned him. He benches over 300 pounds. He's 6'2", 335 pounds. He is a senior here for Hayward. Hutton again looking for a block.
No, that's not where you're going to go against this team.
Time.
Yeah, no, you can't bust outside against the Hayward Farmers.
Only a couple yards that time as the Hayward defense does a much better job against Hutton.
Yeah, Hutton's got to run between the tackles against the Farmers. We haven't seen them go to the power I tonight, Dave. They're in the red zone. We've seen that a couple of times.
Third down and 4 for Newman. Big third down play. They go to the in and out. They scored on earlier, and Lingle keeps the football and dives forward inside the 5. First and goal, Newman, as Lingle carries for 11 yards and a first down. They're 16th.
Well, they went with the in and out, and they had a matchup with Ethan Crandall on Jesse Teola. Jesse's only 5'6". Here comes the power eye right here.
Janowski in the football game. They give it to Hutton, and Hutton is tripped up in the backfield. Nice defensive play for the Hayward Farmers is coming in and making the hit. Jesse Toaloa He is just a 5'6", 155-pound senior. That's a loss of 2.
Yeah, power eyes out. Out comes Kyle Young. Lingle's on the sidelines. There you see Lingle right there. A lot of times Coach Cronin is going to call a timeout right before they go into the end zone, or they're trying to go in the end zone. He wants to get it right, and he wants to make those timeouts count. But right now, they got second down.
Hutton with 79 yards on the night. They give it to him, and he's into the end zone. Hutton, his first touchdown of the football game, and Cardinal Newman adds to their lead.
You know, Dave, they ran right behind Al Netter, and he opened up that hole, and Hutton could have drove a car through that thing. Big turnover by Hayward, and Cardinal Newman makes them pay. Toronto in to try it and make it 21, but this does not help Hayward's attitude right now. They came down kind of flat. They got to get something back right here.
And the kick is good. It's really been a game of big plays. Hayward coming up with the big plays early on, and then Cardinal Newman countering. And starting with the Hayward defense, and Clement Ani picking up the loose football and going the distance to give the Farmers an early lead and tons of momentum, but then Newman hits Crandall for a 30-yard score. And they were on the comeback trail at 9-7. And down to a knee goes Granillo. Hutton powers it in. And that was a huge turn of events right there to start this third quarter.
Well, right now, Dave, we see Cardinal Newman score 21 unanswered points. And that offensive line, I think, has been underrated for Cardinal Newman. They are phenomenal. They are big. They are fundamentally sound. And their defensive line doing just as good a job.
Newman now up by 12. Toronto to kick it away for the Cardinals. What a season he's had, both as a kicker and a lineman. This one goes off the shin of Donnell Gaines. Gaines reversing his field. Spinning. Gaines still going at midfield. And finally gets knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. You see how dangerous Donnell Gaines can be in the open field.
Did we talk about that, Dave? Those are the wedge guys. Those are the guys that are supposed to be opening up the holes for your two studs and returning, and Gaines could take it all away. There must have been about 6 or 7 missed tackles on him, and he just flat out just kept on running. So good job by Gaines. Good field position for the Farmers. Let's see if they can make something work and capitalize on this.
Hayward's offense has been stymied all night long.
Dave, Gaines is a track star. He is the league 100-meter champion. So right there, I'd say the Cardinals got lucky that he didn't bust 100 meters right there.
Kyle Murphy in on the tackle with Travis Amaral. And it's a pickup of a couple of yards. Newman with the scoring drive of just 32 yards, but punching it in, getting the points on the board.
Defensive line for Cardinal Newman. Azevedo, Kyle Murphy. Joe Soto in there.
Here's Evans. Evans getting it going. Evans down to the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Troy Evans. Hayward finally gets loose. It's a 43-yard run for Evans.
There you can see how dangerous he is, and that's exactly what Hayward needed to get back into this ball game. With 5:34 left to go in the third, they put a score on the board, and it's 21-15.
What a run for Evans, and boy, is he explosive. And amazing to see a guy at 205 pounds moving that quickly.
Yeah, he's a flat-out stud. He's the best back Cardinal Newman has seen. 5'10", 205. Has offers on the board already from Nebraska. Pending some testing, he's going to take Colorado, Boise State, UNLV, all waiting in the wings.
Yeah, he's going to retake the SAT, and if he scores well, he's off and running to a Division I school. Granillo, and this kick is blocked again. It's Soto who does it for the second time tonight. Hayward had a chance to cut the lead, but they settle for 6. The lead is 6. Cardinal Newman had shut down the wing tee all night, but Hayward finally getting the big run they need to make it 21-15 here in the third quarter. We'll be back with more in the North Coast Section 3A championship game.
Interest rates aren't going to be this low forever. Hi, I'm Rob Penrose of Western Pacific Loans. In this economy, the securest investment you can make is real estate. If you're thinking of purchasing or refinancing, give me a call.
What was different working with Rob was that he was so straightforward and on top of things. He got us pre-approval for a loan and then set us up with a real estate agent. That way we knew exactly in what price range to look.
Rob got my refinance through in time to get the best deal possible.
Rob Penrose, Western Pacific Law.
You work in the North Bay, Sonoma, Marin, and Napa counties. Beautiful areas with spectacular scenery. The Golden Gate Bridge, the Pacific Coast, the wine country. Advent Office Furniture will make your office reflect the beauty of the North Bay. Transform your office into a pleasant, comfortable, and efficient working environment. Advent, your source for complete office interiors.
So here we go, 5:34 to go in the third. Both teams have scored here in the second half. Hayward's offense finally getting some points on the board, the first time they've scored.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Newman's defense can't get too confident. They've got to keep executing. It's going to take all 4 quarters to win this football game.
Granillo with the short kick. Rolling down inside the 15. Magnuson finally picks it up. Now Pond has it, and Pond slips away. Pond down the sideline, steps out at the 35. Before this next snap, let's check in with Ron Weedy.
Dave, prior to the game, I spoke with head coach Paul Cronin of Cardinal Newman, and I said, Coach, what are you guys going to do? They have such breaking speed. They can make a big play at any time. He said, well, I've talked to the guys. We realize that's going to happen, and I've told them to just be prepared for the big play. Put it in your mind, the back of your mind that's going to happen, and then after that play, come back and execute like you should. Let's see how they do after that big play there, Dave.
Cardinal Newman offense trying to keep the momentum in Newman's court, and Hutton plowing through. Taken down by Stafford. And also in on that tackle was Rodney McGlown, but again, the offensive line pushing the pile forward as Hayward scores in just a couple of plays that time.
Yeah, and you can see, Dave, after that score, Hayward got a little bit more fired up, a little bit better pep in their step, and Cardinal Newman needs to answer and come down and score again and take that momentum back.
Hutton has a first down to the 44-yard line. And boy, can you imagine, and there was a lot of talk this week that Hutton may not be able to play with that bad ankle. And what a different football game this would be without Brian Hutton in the game for Cardinal Newman.
Yeah, you know, Dave, as much as we kept hearing he's going to be good, he's going to be all right, in the back of my mind, I really didn't think Brian was going to be all right. But he's done a great job. And to ever think that Brian Hutton would break Percy Grogan's day, that guy's a stud. He's been a legend around this area for such a long time. Tony Lopez, I mean, those guys are flat out the best players that this area's ever seen, and Brian Hutton has now become the leader.
Nice gain there, and he's close to 100 now. He's just 1 yard shy of hitting the 100-yard mark in this football game. You see Hurd making the tackle from behind for Hayward. This is a huge possession right here. Hayward has proven now that they can and will move the football. 25th carry of the night for Hutton, and he's got another first down.
Wow, that offensive line, Dave's doing a great job. And Hutton, they're just getting a big dose of #1 right now. Controlling the football, taking time off the clock, 3:53 left to go in the third quarter. 103 yards, and he does have a TD right there as we update that graphic. On first down, Cardinal Newman's gotten 8 yards a pop on both times.
Here comes Hutton again. They are using him like a workhorse, and he spins and gets 4 yards. Sifa Etu got a piece of him in the backfield and slowed him up. As Newman chews on some clock right here in the third quarter.
Yeah, you could see that offensive line, Dave, is better conditioned than Hayward's defensive line. They're winning the battle, and late in the game is when this actually pays off. They did a good job in the first half, but they are pushing back Hayward's defensive line, and that's a tough D-line to push back. There you see Kenny Ferrigno right there.
Second down for Newman. They fake it to Hutton this time. Looking deep for Crandall. Crandall has a size advantage, and he hangs on at the 14-yard line.
Dave, we talked about the size difference between Jesse Teola and Ethan Crandall. Coach Cronin, he saw it as well. Ryan Lingle saw it, and Crandall said, I could go up and get this ball, and he did. And Newman is inside the 15-yard line.
A 27-yard gain. Here comes Hutton slicing through. 230 yards now for Ryan Lingle in the air, and 20 first downs for the Cardinal Newman offense. Now, if they win this game and they do get that Division III bid, they will be taking on Oaks Christian, a team from Westlake that many people feel is the top team in the entire state. There's some people who think they're better than De La Salle this year, although their running back, Mark Tyler, is out with an injury. They have an unbelievable quarterback in Jimmy Clausen, a Division I guy. They say he's the best quarterback in the nation as Hutton carries and busts it down to a 5. It'll be interesting to see how Newman matches up against a team of that caliber if they can get by Hayward tonight, and there's a lot of football left to play here at Ernie Nevers Field.
Yeah, we saw how fast Hayward could strike, Dave, so Newman doesn't want to be counting their eggs before they're hatched, but they're doing a great job, and Hayward has not been able to stop them tonight.
Third down, Lingle. And it looks like Lingle has it as he gets down inside the 5.
That offensive line is just wearing them out, doing a great job. First down for the Cardinals.
21 first downs now for Newman. First and goal. Now, Paul Cronin, when he quarterbacked at Pioneer, they knocked off a couple of East Bay teams in the playoffs. Back in the day, back in 1989 and 1990, actually played De La Salle in the NCS Championship. Here's Hutton, and Hutton is in again. A 3-yard run for Hutton, and Newman scores for the second time here in the quarter.
That is a Cardinal Newman favorite play, the counter gap. 2 linemen pull to the right side. Hutton patient, takes a step, follows the lineman, and busts it in for the score. It is now 27-15, and the Cardinals have answered right back. Toronto in to try and make it 28. 2 blocked extra points against Hayward already.
This might be a time when you're tempted to go for 2 to make it a 14-point lead, but Toronto is just going to go ahead and pop it through to make it 27-15. Cardinal Newman. The Cardinals add to their lead. It's 28-15, excuse me, with 1:27 to go here in the third quarter of the North Coast Section 3A championship game. We'll take a break and be back with more action from Ernie Nevers Field.
In a roadside study, 1 in 3 reckless drivers who were tested for drugs tested positive for marijuana. It's more harmful than we all thought.
And we are back here in the third quarter. 1:27 to go. Cardinal Newman leading at 28-15 over Hayward. East Bay champion versus Redwood Empire champion. And what a football game we've had so far tonight.
They've done a great job. Donnell Gaines says, give me another one. And sure enough, it's going to go right to him again, the 100-meter champion.
And Gaines gets it out to the 35-yard line and then a little bit beyond that. Well, Hayward, their last possession, a successful one, a 43-yard run for Evans. As we see Newman's touchdown, as they continue to dominate right up front. Look at Hutton through a big hole.
There you see Hutton coming right into your living room. Big game by Brian Hutton, that offensive line doing a fine job. Now Hayward, they need to come down and answer and see if their offensive line could do some things. But that Newman defensive line has done a good job tonight.
Straight ahead, Newman's defense stopping them after a gain of about a yard.
You know, one of the plays last week that just killed Alhambra, Dave, was it looked like Romero would be going back to pass, and Evans is sitting there, and it's like a draw, but he hands it to him from behind. And then the linebackers fly out, and he just goes busting and rumbling through the secondary, and he did that a couple of times throughout the year.
Under a minute to go here in the quarter. Evans goes in motion. They fake it to him. Romero to throw. He throws it behind Williams, incomplete. Durner was in pursuit. Romero is 3 of 9 now for 27 yards.
Yeah, throwing the ball behind. Guys have had to try to one-hand grab it. There you see Christian Williams right there. Coach Moreno, who calls the offense. He throws it behind Williams right there, and he just can't bring it in. Number of Cardinal Newman defenders right there. 3rd and 8 for the Farmers. They want to make something happen. They need to pick up a first down.
.46 remaining here in the third quarter. Romero throws it high and incomplete. Toronto with great pressure knocks Romero down as he was throwing.
Elio Toronto has done that all year. Busts through that offensive line, and he nails Romero for the incomplete pass. And the Cardinals come up again on defense.
Toronto 5'10", 245. What a season for Elio Toronto. And now Newman will get the football back. Newman has come close a couple times to blocking kicks from Granillo, and they almost get it again. They run into the kicker, and this is going to be a penalty against Newman. It'll depend on whether it's roughing the kicker or running into the kicker, whether or not it will be a first down.
So that'll move it 5 yards. Still be 4th down.
No.
I don't think Coach Moreno will go for it.
Roughing the kicker. Defense, automatic first down.
Okay,
no, they are calling it roughing. First penalty of the night. They actually knocked each other into him. And Granillo did a great job of selling it to get the 15-yard penalty and the first down for Hayward.
Yeah, that's exactly what Hayward wanted to see happen. Not that they planned it, but they'll take it. And it keeps their drive alive, and they're across midfield now. There you see Coach Moreno pacing the sideline still. Wants to muster up some type of a drive. Sometimes you get the assistance of a penalty. Evans.
Here's Evans, same play that he broke for big yardage, and this time Newman's defense does the job and holds him to a gain of just 2. And that will be the end of the third quarter here at Ernie Nevers Field in Santa Rosa. Cardinal Newman leading it 28-15. 3 quarters of play in the books here on this week's Game of the Week. We'll turn the page and bring you the final chapter of this one in just a moment.
When I was growing up, my parents and I would go to the schoolyard and play ball every weekend. They teach me how if I practiced and didn't give up, my swing would get better. But if I got in front of the ball and wasn't afraid, I could stop it. That there weren't any shortcuts to becoming a better player. But if I believed in myself, I could do it. Funny, all that time, I thought they were teaching me how to play baseball.
No one wants to be injured in any sport, but if it happens, let Carry On Fitness get you back on track. When you first come in, we'll start by measuring your full range of motion using the exclusive BioLiver system. With this information, we can design an exercise program to enhance an athlete's balance, speed, strength, and most importantly, prevent injuries. We also feature the Woodway treadmill, used by many professional athletes today. So when the bad happens, make it good again with Carry On Fitness. Real results, real fast.
Final 12 minutes on the clock here at Ernie Nevers Field as the rain continues to come down. Hasn't dampened the spirits of the crowd here tonight at Nevers Field. The crowd, though, maybe not quite as big as it was last week. Here's Donnell Gaines, and Briggs nails him, along with Murphy. A gain of just one. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Tanner Briggs, 6'1", 225, has 5 sacks on the year, just does a great job on that defensive line. You know, Tanner started out as a linebacker, but he got so big, so tough, so fast. They put him on the D-line the last couple of years, and he's done a fantastic job. There you see Toronto, Briggs, Young, Murphy, Azevedo. Donnell Gaines just 21 yards so far through 3 quarters of play. 3rd and 6.
Romero to the air, fires this one, and it's almost picked off by Knowlton. Newman had that play read very well.
Knowlton came up from his safety spot. His hands were kind of crossed and couldn't come down with it, but a big play, so the penalty doesn't hurt the Cardinals.
4th down. The question is Hayward going to go for it right here? They have not brought the punter on the field yet. And it looks like Coach Moreno is going to roll the dice right here with a 4th and 7 at the Newman 44-yard line.
Big play right here for both sides.
Romero to throw it. And Jennings can't come up with it. Newman will take over. The pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then Max Pond came up and nailed Jennings.
Yeah, Durner jumps up, and he tips it. And Max Pond doing a little defensive action, just like Gaines did earlier on Durruddy, and lays a lick on Jennings. There you see Pond right there, making him pay the price for sprawling out, and Newman's got the ball.
Hutton picks up a quick 3 yards. Stafford bringing him down. Key drive of the football game right now. If you're Hayward and head coach Casey Moreno, your defense has got to come up with a stop. It's been a long time since they've been able to keep Newman out of the end zone. Not only that, but Newman is chewing up clock, and if Newman comes down and puts points on the board right here, they are in great shape. So Hayward has got to really come up with a defensive stop right here. 30 carries now for Brian Hutton.
Even watching Hutton on the sidelines, Dave, I would have never thought he would carry the load like this tonight.
A marker down, way back near the line of scrimmage. Big run for Hutton, but it looks like this one is going to come back.
Yeah, Hutton looked like he was favoring the ankle on the sidelines. Let's see the referee's call right here.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
You know, Dave, just watching Lingle.
These guys are busy tonight.
Doing a great job keeping those balls dry. You know, watching Lingle, Dave, just control this team and lead this team. He is a natural leader. He is so calm right now. You just look at him. He said, his feelings are they got this game right here, but they're going to have to come up with another big drive, take the majority of the quarter off, and make this a 3-score lead so Hayward can't strike big and get right back in this game.
2nd and 15 from the point of the foul. That one's marched back 10 yards. Lingle out of the gun. Steps up. He'll keep. Lingle dives forward near midfield. It's going to be 3rd and 4. Let's check in now with Ron Weedy.
Hey, Dave, thanks so much. Here on the sideline, you saw Nicky Lemos, athletic director for Cardinal Newman, also TJ McMahon, baseball coach. They are keeping the footballs dry on the side, and also TJ's son, Christopher, is helping out as well, but it's making a huge difference here on the sideline. I spoke with Ryan Lingle. He said it makes a huge difference when he's throwing the football. Back up to you, Dave.
Yeah, that was the one thing Ryan talked about. He said, you know, the rain, the wind, all that is bad, but if I have a dry football that I can grip, I'm all right. I'm confident, and they have done a tremendous job shuttling balls in and out the field and keeping them dry. 3rd down. Hutton the lone back. Lingle to the air. Has time. Flips it to Hutton. Hutton is going to be short of the 1st down. Big play by Rodney McGlown.
Yeah, that was a big play by McGlown because Hutton has gotten those 1st downs just by stretching over, but McGlown came up, made a hit, just 5'9", 170. Did a great job defensively to keep them from picking up the 1st down. That's going to bring up 4th down and about 1.5 yards, a long yard, and it looks like the Cardinals are going for it.
Paul Cronin showing confidence, not only in his offensive line, but his defensive line as well. Lingle sees an opening off the right side and picks up 4 yards. Everybody was between the tackles, and Lingle just went to the outside. What a great play. Obviously something that they've worked on in practice this week.
Yeah, that was a great read by Lingle because Hayward was coming up to stuff it. And you see him bounce outside of Hurd right there. And then you see Moore trying to, and Moore actually takes him down, and they're just kind of stunned. They cannot stop the Cardinal offense.
Lingle has carried 10 times tonight. 2 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. It's Hutton. And Hutton hits the hole for 4 more yards. That is 31 carries for Brian Hutton tonight on a bad ankle. Lingle has thrown for 233 yards, couple of touchdowns. Hutton has done his thing, a couple of short touchdown runs, but he's managed to control the clock, and that has been a huge factor as Newman has tried to keep Hayward's offense off the field as much as possible tonight. There you see Lingle's rushing yards, so total offense for him close to 300. Here's Hutton, a marker down, as Hutton gets to the 27-yard line, taken down by Toiloa.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Newman just tearing up that right side of the Hayward defense. They're called for holding right there, but Al Netter has just shut down Austin Stafford all night. We have not called Stafford's number more than a couple of times, and Al Netter showing why he's the #1 lineman in the Redwood Empire and on his way to Northwestern.
Look at the total yardage. Newman with a huge advantage. Hayward racking up over 560 yards last week, held in check. Here is the pass, a little high, intended for Crandall. It's going to be 3rd and 15.
Yeah, that one flew away on Lingle. He just clapped his hands as that ball fell incomplete. It just sailed on him. So that'll pick up a 3rd down and long, about 16 yards. There you see, look at the ball kind of slipped out of Lingle's hands. And they're going after that matchup again between Crandall and Tailoa.
Yeah, that's Tailoa. He's at just 5'6", 155, going up against Crandall, who's 6'1", 215. That is a bit of a mismatch, and Newman has been able to exploit that a little bit here tonight.
The Crandall had 3 catches last week for 33 yards. There's Lingle heating up.
Lingle has trouble with the snap. Manages to hang on to it, but he's going to lose 3 yards. Didn't try to do too much in that situation, and now Newman will have to punt, I believe, for the first time tonight.
Well, they're going to... The clock has been stopped. It shouldn't have been stopped. They should knock off about 20 seconds because the guy stopped it, but the fans were just irate turning around to the press box.
Max Pond to punt, and now Newman takes a timeout. Well, if you remember how this season started for Newman, we talked about way back in week 1 as they matched up against Central Catholic, that the Division III NorCal State Championship bowl bid might come down to that game. And if you remember way back in September, it was Lingle to Duruddy for a big score against Central Catholic. Now, Central Catholic rolled through and won their section. Here's Lewis Bland. He had a big game on the ground against Newman, and he has been fantastic. But Newman trailed late in the game, and a big play right there is coming down with the catch was Barry Mims on the tip. He goes the distance. That gave Newman the lead, and they won that game over Central Catholic. If Newman wins tonight, that win over Central Catholic may be the difference and decide which team goes to the state championship next week at Carson.
Yeah, because you know right now, Dave, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Glines from Central Catholic is here tonight, because if Newman loses, Central Catholic is more likely to be the one selected. Pond to punt.
Great punt. Jermaine Jennings fumbles it. It looks like Newman has it at the 20. First turnover of the night by Hayward. Coming up with the football is Tyler Carr. He's had a great game tonight.
Nice high kick.
There may be a penalty, however.
Blocking below the waist.
A penalty against Newman. I never saw the flag. But sure enough, there it is, back at the 42-yard line, a block below the waist, and the Newman crowd is going crazy right now.
Dave, you can totally tell this crowd is smelling victory. They are on these referees like there's no tomorrow, and there is no tomorrow if Newman loses, so the crowd trying to do everything they can to help this situation out. It might have been a chop block or something because we didn't see it, but that'll bring up 4th down again. They'll re-kick it. They've backed it up. But Jennings is happy. He wants that one back.
6 minutes and 30 seconds left in this football game.
Newman took a lot of time off the clock with that last drive, even though they're going to punt. Coach Moreno telling his guys, come together so they can't kick it to one or the other. You guys split at the last minute. If you're looking at the return men,
Evans and Jennings are back deep. Both of them very dangerous.
There you see Coach Moreno just brought them together and said, you guys switch sides because Pond is going to kick it to Jennings. And he doesn't know which side Jennings is going to go to. So right now he's going to go to the...
Pond just barely gets that kick off as Donnell Gain was in his face and perhaps could have blocked that, but he kind of backed away from it, not wanting to rough the kicker.
So the Farmers are going to have better field position plus the ball. They still got life. 6:12 to go in the game. Hayward needs 2 scores. And as we saw before, they can get one quickly. So it's going to be up to Cardinal Newman's defense to shine right now. They've done a great job all night long. Can they hang on? There you see Coach Moreno right there, standing alongside Coach Molson. Romero wants to come in and lead this team to a score.
Hayward with just a little over 6 minutes to work with. Can they get their explosive offense going? Here's Evans. This is a play he had a huge run last week on, and he rumbles for 12 yards. What a run.
Great
Tanner
play.
Briggs brings him down, but it's a beautiful run for Evans.
Yeah, great play, great vision by Evans. It's a counter play. He comes inside. There he sees he's got nowhere to go, and his natural talent just takes over and comes back until Briggs and Magnuson bring him down. But they pick up the 1st down. Hayward working quickly. 5:54 left to go in the game.
First and 10, Hayward. The Farmers trying to keep their dream season alive. Evans pushed back. Kyle Young slows him up, and now Toronto finishes him off. It'll be interesting to see where they spot this.
Kyle Young had him in the backfield until the rest of his crew came in to push him back. As the rest of the Cardinal Newman defense came, Young reaches in, stripping for the ball. You're going to see Kyle Young right there. You're going nowhere. He's hanging on. Then he comes in and wants to strip the ball. Good job by Toronto in that defense.
Kyle Young, what a season he's had. Over 100 tackles on the year. 78 solo. Second and long. Romero. And almost has an interception, but he runs into his own man on the far side, and we have a player injured. Is that Durner? It's Durner, I believe.
Durner and Pond collided. I actually thought it was Pond that was down, but Durner hops up. He's limping. He's a player. He's done a great job all year. And he's fired up because he knows that the Cardinals are 5-0-1 away. You see Romero right there looking for Evans. Pond has it. Durner runs into him. And Durner getting up slow, but he hops off, and that brings up a 3rd and 13 for the Farmers.
Big third down play coming up right here. Hayward trying to keep their hopes alive. No doubt it's 4-down territory with 5:01 to go. Two champions, both teams at 12-1. Here's Evans, and Evans picks up 7 yards. It's going to be 4th and 5.
Evans, just as good a receiver as he is a back, and he gets that ball, and he lights it up. So good job defensively again. It brings up a 4th down. It's 4-down territory. The Farmers have to go for it. They can't give the ball back. It's 4:32 left to go in the ball game. They need 2 touchdowns.
Fourth down for Hayward. Here's that play he talked about, and it's Evans, and it's close to a 1st down. Evans has it now as he gets down inside the 20. An 11-yard run.
A big crackback block on James Kay by Jermaine Jennings. You're going to see him. Here's that draw play we talked about. They tuck it in from behind, and Evans makes it happen. But see if you can see the block by Jennings right there on James Kay. And James Kay is down on the ground.
Newman with another injury here in the 4th quarter.
Jermaine Jennings just laid a lick on him. Kay was in pursuit. Jennings did something similar to a crackback and just laid him out. Now Jennings, 6'1", there you see Kay. He's got to come off. He doesn't know right now where he's at, but he's got to come off for a play at least. Kay had a big game last week against the Vikings, but you're going to see if you can see it right here. Jennings is going to fly in right here. There he is, lowers his shoulder, nice clean hit. Good block by Jermaine. Nevertheless, it's 1st down for the Farmers with under 4 minutes to go. So the penalty on the 4th down, roughing the kicker, personal foul against the Cardinals, has made this drive possible.
There's the Division I rankings. De La Salle, Grant, and Foothill. Hayward is actually number 6 in the Division I rankings, although it'd be unlikely that all 3 of those teams would lose. Palo Alto and Novato battling for the Division II berth, and then Newman and Central Catholic are the leaders in the Division III rankings. Newman, 3 minutes and 54 seconds away.
4:06.
They're putting time back on the clock.
Newman crowd, of course, not pleased with that.
Well, they let about 20 seconds go off on a change of possession, and that wasn't good. You think they'd have called it a wash, but they added, nevertheless, it's 4:06 to go.
First and 10, 4 minutes to play. Inside handoff, Donnell Gaines. And Gaines gets to the 15-yard line. That's a gain of 4.
See, the one thing that Cardinal Newman is doing right here that they're going to benefit from, Dave, is they're not giving up a huge play. They're giving up small gains. The Farmers are moving the ball. They're picking up first downs, but they don't care. They need 2 scores. They're taking more time off the clock right now. We're down to 3:36 right now in the game.
From the 15-yard line, it's Evans again. Kyle Young takes him down after a gain of just 1.
Great pursuit by number 47, Kyle Young. He just kept sidestepping, sliding down, following Evans, and got close enough to make contact and would not let go.
Boy, and you can see the intensity on the field right now. Kyle Young hanging on to Evans for dear life, but this Hayward team is showing a tremendous amount of heart right now. They do not want to lose this football game, and they are letting it all hang out here with just under 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, we are seeing a different Hayward team here at the tail end of this ball game. They're playing with more intensity and more urgency.
The officials taking time. And now remember, Hayward has a couple of fourth-quarter comebacks under their belt. Here in the playoffs, they came back against Concord and won, and they came back against Irvington and won there also. Let's check in now with Ron Weavy.
Dave, I just want to give you an update on the conditions of the field. This sport turf does a terrific job shedding water, but if you're carrying the football, it has one byproduct that could make you drop the football, and that is the rubber from the field sticks to your hand, and it could interfere.
Touchdown, Evans takes the pass. No, that's Jermaine Jennings. And it's a 15-yard score.
Great ball by Romero to Jennings. Right inside, split inside of Jennings was Jesse Teola, the 5'6" guy, split out a wide receiver. And Romero throws the ball right over Jesse's head. And Jennings comes down with it.
His third catch of the night. This one for a touchdown and 15 yards. 28-21, the extra point now could pull them to within 6. And they do. That's why I'm a little surprised Newman didn't go for 2 the last time they scored. 28-22 with 2:34 to go. Wow.
Great job by Hayward.
High school football. Newman will get the football now and try to run out the clock when we come back.
Throughout Northern California, Rogers & Young Insurance Services has been insuring people and businesses since 1958.
A strong relationship with our insurance carrier is paramount. We've definitely established that with Rogers & Young Insurance. They've taken the worry out of evaluating our insurance needs. Rogers & Young has taken the time to understand Argonaut, and they certainly understand our industry.
Rogers & Young Insurance Services, a full-service insurance agency with longevity and experience. We take care of your financial well-being.
It's no secret, Sonoma County has become one of the most desirable places to live in the Bay Area. Rob Penrose at Western Pacific Loans can help you get financing for your dream home. Rob has lived in Sonoma County for over 25 years helping people just like you. He can choose from several lenders to get the right loan, even if you have less than perfect credit. Get the home you've always wanted with first-class service and competitive rates. Soon you'll be relaxing in your new home thanks to Rob Penrose at Western Pacific Loans, Sonoma County's local lender with the competitive edge.
The rain continuing to fall. 2:34 to play in the North Coast Section 3A Championship, and everything we could have expected. 28-22, and Hayward is going for the onside kick in these sloppy conditions. This should be interesting.
Look at that hands team. I don't think I've seen a more talented hands team than I'm looking at right now.
It's a beautiful onside kick, and it rolls. It's still in bounds, and it looks like Newman has it, but there's a scrum for the football. It ended up rolling all the way down inside the 30, and Newman does have it. What a that onside kick by Granillo.
That was perfect. It looks like Evans was there. I thought he was out of bounds, but we can't see it from the far side of the field. But then Newman, they get lucky with that football-shaped looking pigskin, and it bounces around. But great job by Granillo right there. You can see that's Evans, and I thought he was out of bounds right there, but he seemed to tip it back in. He could have recovered.
Boy, he got a really good shot at that football, and he could have picked that up with a head of steam.
He could. Let me tell you right now, Dave, you know what Newman needs right now? They need offensive line and number 1. That's exactly what they need.
Newman is getting the football way up near midfield. They're saying that it went out of bounds, or perhaps a Hayward player touched it before it went 10 yards. I think that is maybe what happened.
Well, the one thing that can't happen, Dave, is you cannot advance an onside kick. So if you get the ball, you can't push it the other direction. So that's probably what the call is by the refs.
Hutton, nice hole. He's down to the 40-yard line. Boy, that was a lot of field position that touching of the football meant, as he gets 8 yards. And they have all their timeouts remaining, and they're going to burn one right here.
Cardinal Newman needs to protect the football. There you see the onside kick, Dave.
See who touched it. Boy, that was close.
See, he's out of bounds right there, Dave. His feet were out of bounds when he made contact with the ball. Great job by our camera crew to pick that up. So they move it back to where it should be.
Like a Hayward player touched it just before it went 10 yards. 2:21 to go. Hayward with 2 timeouts remaining.
Newman cannot turn the ball over. Hayward done an outstanding job here late in the 3rd and early in the 4th.
It's Hutton. Close to a first down at the 36-yard line. He's got it. 4 yards more for Hutton. "23 first downs now for Newman."
Newman taking their time, Dave. The clock ticking. Good job by the workhorse tonight, number 1, Brian Hutton. 2:05 to go in the game.
Hayward not stopping the clock right now.
Hayward has 2 timeouts, Dave. Newman could just keep pounding the ball and take the total 1 minute and 50 seconds off and make Hayward use their timeout. Hutton to the outside.
And Hutton this time picks up just a yard. Nice job defensively this time. Coming up and making the hit was Clement Ani, and a timeout taken for Hayward again.
1:42 left to go in the ball game. Hayward has 1 timeout remaining.
34th carry of the night for Brian Hutton. Well, Hayward has had a tremendous season this year, and they've shown a lot of heart today. They got off to a great start tonight, Gary, the 9-0 lead. Then Newman came back and took the lead, but Hayward has not given up. And with 1 minute and 42 left, they almost got that onside kick. Now they have got to come up with a way to get a stop and get their offense back on the field, or come up with a turnover like they did early in the football game. And with the weather like it is, anything can still happen in 1 minute and 42.
Yeah, I talked about early in the game, this is going to be won or lost all up front, Dave. And it is in the offensive line's hands. Brian Hutton, Ryan Lingle, and they've got to protect the football. 1:42 left to go.
Hutton stopped by Turner. Nice hit by Antoine Turner.
Hayward has taken their last timeout. Coach Moreno knows if he doesn't take the timeout, Newman can run 2 more plays and pretty much wipe out the clock. This has been a fantastic football game. There you see Antoine Turner, just a junior, making a tackle right there. 3rd and 5 for the Cardinals.
1:36 to play. Newman needs one more first down, and they can just drop down to a knee. Janowski is in at fullback now. Hutton behind Janowski, gets the block. Hutton loses the football. Who has it? It looks like Hayward has it back at the 19-yard line. They do the 4th turnover of the night. Hutton coughs it up.
All they had
Hayward's
to do,
offense is back on the field.
all they had to do was to protect the football, and Hutton coughs it up.
Now, the officials haven't signaled who has the football yet. Hayward assuming they got it, but now Newman says they do. And now the officials say that Newman has it. Newman is going to hang on to the football, and Casey Moreno is going crazy.
By rule, it belongs to the offense.
Casey Moreno is out on the field, and he is going crazy.
I'd like to see that again. The referees have taken just so much abuse tonight. Coach Moreno on the field, which isn't like him, and that's not normal for a head coach to be out right there in midfield. Well, let's see what they're talking about. Hutton's got the ball. We'll see if his knee goes down. That's a fumble. His knee's not down, so I'm not quite sure what they're talking about. I think what happened, Dave, is that there was no way for them to tell at the bottom of that pile who had the ball, and by rule it goes to the offense when that happens. They can't just guess and just say it's Hayward's ball. It was a fumble by Hutton, but I think back in the scrum they couldn't figure out who had it, and it automatically goes to the offense.
It's 24 first downs for Newman. No question about it. It was a fumble, and they spotted it at the point where the pile was.
Yeah, big hit. That was Clement Ani, who had the big touchdown in the first quarter, comes in, and they can't tell. It looks like it could have been Jackson who had the ball, but then there you see Monson's shoulder right in there, and they couldn't tell who had the ball.
Newman just allowed the delay of game penalty. They ran the clock all the way down to 53. Now they can drop to a knee, and Paul Cronin is going to take a timeout. Wow. What a dogfight this has been tonight, Gary.
This has, and the Stripes have really been at the center of attention in this last quarter. The Newman fans ballistic that the time clock wasn't run properly. It was being stopped when it shouldn't have been. It was being run when it shouldn't have been. And they were taking some abuse, and right now, Hayward feels that they should have the football. But it was indeed a fumble by Hutton. But I believe they could not tell who had the ball, and the ball went to the offense.
Well, if you want to talk about this game, go to our Comcast GameOfTheWeek.com website. You can also order copies of any of our games throughout this season, and what a year it has been. We will not be going to Carson next week. Fox Sports has the rights to that one. I tell you what, Gary, I'm looking forward to just kicking back in my living room and watching a high school football game for a change.
Hey, you know what, Dave? I'm going to be in my car, and I'm driving to Carson because I want to see De La Salle play if they win. I want to see either Palo Alto or Novato, and I definitely want to see this Cardinal Newman team play.
I believe it's an 11 a.m. kickoff for the Division III game, and there's Dennis Bruno. The defense was incredible, and Lingle goes to a knee one more time, and Newman begins to celebrate. They've done it. The first Redwood Empire team to knock off an East Bay team in the championship since 1996. Cardinal Newman is going to the state championship game.
Wow, congratulations to Coach Moreno and his staff. 28-22, Hayward valiantly coming back, making it a ball game. But the Cardinals hang on.
Hayward's incredible dream season coming to an end, but certainly nothing to be ashamed of.
right, well, the celebration continuing here as the coaches exchange words. And boy, what an exciting opportunity for Cardinal Newman to go down to the state championship in Carson next week, something that has never happened, and for a Redwood Empire team to be a part of that. And you can see that Paul Croning is letting some emotion out. He's really been close to the vest all year long, and I think now he really realizes what this team has accomplished.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He's been here since 2003. Cardinal Newman has never lost on this field since Coach Cronin has taken over. Lingle doing an outstanding job once again, leading his team, the NCS 3A champions. Hats off to Hayward, doing a great job. But I had to tell you, Dave, we talked about it. That offensive line and that defensive line of Cardinal Newman did a phenomenal job.
All right, let's take a break right here and be back with our play of the game and talk with some of the winning Cardinals and give away our Joe Beeland autographed football coming up next.
You work in the North Bay, Sonoma, Marin, and Napa counties. Beautiful areas with spectacular scenery. The Golden Gate Bridge, the Pacific Coast, the wine country. Advent Office Furniture will make your office reflect the beauty of the North Bay. Transform your office into a pleasant, comfortable, and efficient working environment. Advent, your source for complete office interiors.
There is a place where a total stranger will give you their blood. A place where someone you never knew will save your child from drowning. Where a person who doesn't look like you, talk like you, or dress like you will give you shelter after a flood. That place is called America, where we look out for each other. When you help the American Red Cross, you help America.
You may not play in the majors. You may not be athlete of the week. But you will be something. Dream. Every kid deserves a chance. With your support, Easter Seals offers children with disabilities help and hope.
No one wants to be injured in any sport, but if it happens, let Carry On Fitness get you back on track. When you first come in, we'll start by measuring your full range of motion using the exclusive BioLiver system. With this information, we can design an exercise program to enhance an athlete's balance, speed, strength, and most importantly, prevent injuries. We also feature the Woodway treadmill, used by many professional athletes today. So when the bad happens, make it good again with Carry On Fitness. Real results, real fast.
Throughout Northern California, Rogers & Young Insurance Services has been insuring people and businesses since 1958.
Rogers & Young has the experience to help us with our insurance requirements. Through their unique understanding of workers' comp and safety management, they've helped us control costs and keep our employees safe.
Rogers & Young Insurance Services, a full-service insurance agency with longevity and experience. We take care of your financial well-being.
And it's time for our play of the game in this North Coast Section Championship. Remember this one, Newman running a beautifully executed pass play to get themselves into the lead back in the second quarter. Lingle to Duretti, our play of the game. And Newman with a 28-22 victory, but it was not easy. Down to the wire, the Hayward Farmers took the Cardinals. Now let's check in with Ron Weedy with some very happy Cardinal Newman players.
Hey, Dave, thanks so much. And true NCS champions now. And Brian Munson comes up with the big fumble recovery at the very end. Brian, when did you see the ball come out and how did you get it?
Saw the ball come out on my left side, went up, dove down on the ground for it, and came out on top with it.
Did you see it actually when it came out?
No, I saw it flying through the air, so I hit the ground, saw guys go for it, I went for it too, I came out on top.
What was it like out there in the rain against these guys? They had a lot of speed.
It was fun, the rain's great. They're a fast team, but we came out on top.
You guys are NCS champions. How great does it feel?
Feels great. Feels great. 2 years in a row, baby.
You're celebrating, but you got to go to Carson next week. How's that feel as well?
It feels great. I can't wait.
Ryan, congratulations. Awesome job. You saved the game on that fumble, possibly. What a terrific recovery. Al Netter, we thought you had the key matchup tonight against their defensive end. What was it like out there?
Well, going into the game, I knew he was a really quick guy. I knew I'd have to get my head back. Started off a little shaky, but I started controlling him after a while, and we knew that if we were going to win this game, the keys would be defensive and offensive line, and we took care of it.
You didn't allow him one sack to Ryan Lingle. Austin Stafford, pretty good player. He's probably going to Nebraska University, so you had your hands full tonight, but boy, you came up big, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fun. I love playing the best talent.
What's it like blocking for Ryan Lingle?
It's awesome. You know he's always going to make big plays. You know he can scramble if he gets in trouble. He's just awesome.
What are you thinking about next week?
Next week, I'm just so happy we get another week to practice and to play. It's an awesome experience, once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Al, congratulations. Terrific game.
Thank you.
You controlled that line of scrimmage for this man right here. And, Dave, tonight we're actually going to have co-players of the game. Ryan Lingle, terrific game out there. The sideline kept the ball dry for you. What was it like throwing the football out there?
I mean, it was fine. I would just put the ball up, and the receivers made great plays. The refs did a good job keeping the ball dry, so I just put it up there, and they made great plays.
I noticed on this field when it's wet that the rubber comes off and it gets on the football in your hands. Did that affect you out there at all?
No, not at all, really. I just went out there and threw the ball like any other day.
You guys came out, had 4 turnovers, almost, well, 3 turnovers. The last one wasn't a turnover, but how did you guys overcome that in the first half?
Well, I mean, we just went back to the basics, just run the football, and our O-line just did a great job the entire game, just blocking for us, so they set up everything for us.
I know Coach Cronin before the game told me that he had talked to you guys about them making big plays and how to overcome their big plays. How were you able to do that?
Well, I mean, we just kept a level head the entire game. I mean, things are going to go wrong in this wet conditions and stuff. There's going to be turnovers, but we just stayed to our basics and just played a great game, man. Team effort.
Ryan, we want to show you the new football that Comcast is with. Joe Beelan, he's got your name on it right here, and it's congratulations to you. It's going to be co-player of the game, so Brian's also going to get one as well. But there it is, Ryan Lingle, player of the game, Comcast Sports, Joe Beelan. And Joe, what is how can they get hold of you?
Go on to joebeeland.com, joebeeland.com. Or just email me at jbeeland at sbcglobal.net.
Great, that's fantastic. And also, Dave, if you want a championship ball, any of the players can have one personalized. But let's get to our co-player of the game as well, the all-time leading rusher in the history of Cardinal Newman High School football, Brian Hutton. Brian, what's it feel like to win this game?
It feels great. Words can't really explain how I feel right now. It's awesome.
There was a lot of question marks whether you were going to play this week. You didn't play except one play in the second half last week against Montgomery. You didn't practice this week, so there were a lot of questions, but you knew that you were going to play. Is that correct?
Yeah, I definitely did.
How did you feel out there, and how was the leg when you first started?
Oh, once my adrenaline started pumping, I didn't even feel a thing. I was perfectly fine.
Now, I know the ball was pretty slippery out there. You turned it over a couple of times. What was it like carrying the football in this rain?
Oh, it was really slippery. It's really hard to control the ball. I just had to keep both points on the ball covered at all times, and I don't know, a couple of times just got slippery and slipped out.
Brian, congratulations to your all-time leading rusher for Cardinal Newman High School. And Dave, he still has one more game down in Carson. Let's say a final note. Hayward played a terrific game tonight, but Cardinal Newman was just too much. Hutton and the defensive line were just too much for him. Back to you, Dave.
All right, thank you very much, Ron. So a tremendous night of high school football, adverse conditions. Hats off to both teams for hanging in there and playing one heck of a football game. What a way to end the season for us here on the Comcast Game of the Week.
Oh, yeah, you know, Dave, Hayward did a great job because when we showed the play of the game where Durrutti was wide open and he scored, Cardinal Newman had such momentum, you thought they were about to put this game away, and Hayward would not let that happen. And they kept coming and kept coming, had a great last quarter from about the end of the third quarter till just about the end of the fourth quarter, and did a great job to get back in this game. And they were in position to possibly come in and take the lead in this game, but Cardinal Newman wouldn't have it. So congratulations to Hayward. Congratulations to Cardinal Newman, the NCS champions. Looks like they are the likely favorite to head down to Carson. Great year for both teams.
So that will do it for our coverage here in 2006. It's been a tremendous season. We started with Cardinal Newman. We ended the year with Cardinal Newman. And that win over Central Catholic back in September really is the difference between Cardinal Newman moving on or ending their season tonight. And I do believe that they are going to move on to the state championship. We'll find out this weekend as the committee makes their selection. Cardinal Newman 28-22 over Hayward. What an exciting night as Cardinal Newman fell behind early on, 9-0. But then the Cardinals came back and ended up pulling away. Hayward had the momentum and the lead early on, but it was not meant to be. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage of high school football here in 2006 on Comcast. We'll be back in January with the start of basketball season right now, though it's all about a championship banner going to Cardinal Newman and the North Bay as the Cardinals pull off a huge win over Hayward to take the combined 3A crown. For Gary Howard, Ron Weedy, our director Brian Leach, and all of us here at Comcast, I'm Dave Cox saying goodbye from Ernie Nevers Field. We'll see you again real soon here on the Comcast Game of the Week. Happy holidays, everybody.
It's all trapped in a good machine. High dollar on a machine doesn't mean it's